Welcome back to Themepark Wizard. We're here on a special live stream with the boys and maybe a couple more boys joining later. All about recapping D23 Park's panel. What's going on? We have Almighty Coasters and VashSky Parkcast. Where can everybody find you, Mr. Almighty?
If you want that almighty experience, Almighty Coasters on YouTube right here. You got Almighty Coasters on Instagram, Almighty Coasters on TikTok, and Almighty Hoster on X. Don't forget about Threads too. Everyone forgets about Threads.
Let's freaking go in VashSky Podcast. Where can everybody find you?
Everybody can find me at VashSky on X and at VashSky Parkcast on YouTube. We just had some incredible live streams going over all of D23 coverage, including like the entertainment panel and so forth with Vash and Vixen. We had some a watch-along party with WWE Pro and a kind of wrap-up of everything that the show offered, including the experiences showcase right there with the Capture the Magic yesterday. So definitely check out VashSky Parkcast. We'll have content on D23 and so much more all this week.
Awesome, possum. Okay, so I just happened to make a nice big Google Doc of notes for an upcoming video I'm going to film right after this live stream. So we're going to use that to help us out today. Starting off, though, the Imagineering Story will be coming back in 2028, Season 2. I loved the first season. Excited for this. Did you watch the first season, Almighty Coasters, or do you not have Disney Plus?
It came out in 2019. I have Disney Plus.
I don't know. You're too busy riding coasters.
Oh, excited. Yes, I'm like you. I'm excited.
Great.
No,
because in Vash, you don't have Disney Plus. Well, no, I feel like you do or don't. Are you excited?
Oh, I have Disney Plus, yeah, and I actually am excited because the Imagineering Story I think was one of the best programs ever released for Disney Plus. And as you know, that was actually a inaugural offering when Disney Plus actually launched back in November of 2019. Yeah, that's right. So, and I've been keeping track of this and seeing whether or not Leslie Iwerks was in the process of developing this, and she said historically that oh well, you know, we're still filming, so who knows. And it's really, really cool because it's going to be centered around this pivotal time in the company's history, something that we have questions about even to this day, of this period when the world shut down and everything, stopped and closed and everything else. And what did Imagineering do during this time that was so transformative in the company's history? It's going to be really interesting to explore those things, especially in documentary style. Now, she's promising that nothing's held back. We'll see about all that, but very excited about Leslie Iwerk's next production.
Awesome. Thank you, Real Ventures, for becoming a YouTube member. But yeah, it's super exciting. And then 2028 will makes sense because that's when like some of these projects start debuting, and so I can imagine that some episodes will debut or tie into the upcoming debuts of new things like Piston Peak and things or whatever. So that should be pretty exciting. And let's start off with the Magic Kingdom actually, because Disney World has a lot of cool updates here. Piston Peak specifically, here we have the new second attraction, which looks to be like Mater's and like the Paris ride. It has the Cars vehicles, like a little nice family ride, flat ride for everybody, called Miss Fritter's Daredevil Spin Along. Will include a giant animatronic Miss Fritter. Thank you so much. I have menchies. Thank you so much. But yeah, so Miss Fritter, the giant animatronic, and nice, probably no height requirement ride for the whole family. What do you guys think? I'm liking the addition of the big animatronic, but Mater's is cool, so I think I like it. What do you think? Honestly, I don't remember Miss Fritter. I do remember Miss Fritter from Cars 3. Only when they said it was from Cars 3, I'm like, oh, I remember that scene. But what do you think about the small little attraction here?
I think that it should have been, themed to Jackson Storm, because that's my guy from Cars 3.
I know, I like that guy.
No, honestly, I do like the secondary attraction. The main reason why is because I feel the new way these parks are developing lands, they have it to one attraction, and the rest of the space feels empty, and there's nothing else to do there. I think pretty much everything after Hogsmeade kind of changed the way we develop lands, and I think Galaxy's Edge suffers from that. So I'm glad to see Disney creating a new land and making sure that there's multiple attractions and something for everybody there, and something that can offset the people, because I think that's sorely missing. And we see that a lot with Epic Universe, and we saw again with Galaxy's Edge, and then again in Epic Universe and a lot of their lands. And even Super Nintendo World. So I'm glad that they are fixing that issue.
Yeah, I have to agree. We have a little bit of a roll there.
Oh, what? See,
going over
the B-rolls come up so fast I can't even see it. Okay, here we go.
Just know you switch topics. I got roll 4.
Wait, how do I? Oh wait, I have to.
Yeah,
there we go.
There
Okay,
you go.
there we go. First of all, this model is insane in person, but continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And big shout out to Tom Bricker and Scott Gustin and Drew Disney Dude and Walt Disney World News Today and everybody else who were able to take so high quality photos of this model right here. It is a very detailed model. I mean, it's extraordinary, especially with the amount of trees and vegetation, which historically on model work has been extremely difficult to convey. So that big props to them. I will say there is a heavy reliance on that. So this is supposed to be very one with nature. It's supposed to be very wilderness, very outdoorsy, and so forth. The Imagineers described Frontierland as a series of different locations spread all across North America. And it's like, how do we actually combine all of these elements into one place? How do we make it more holistic, more cohesive with something like, I don't know, Bryce Canyon, Utah with Big Thunder, or New Orleans with Chance by Adventure, or even Boston, Massachusetts, that area of Liberty Square. Well, we'll go ahead and go into the realm of like Fort Wilderness, Wilderness Lodge, etc. That was kind of the jumping off point for this. And honestly, I mean, I think they really nailed that look, that aesthetic. Again, there are questions of timeline and how this actually, you could say that this coalesces with something like Boston, Massachusetts, but we all know that it's 1776, colonial America. Like it's it's a time period as well as a place. But I think they did really nail this aesthetic that they're actually going for. Like Almighty Coaster said, when you have these big lands, these 14-acre huge things, right? Like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you only have 2 attractions. It's a little bit disappointing. So for this, even though it's 4 acres, which is about a third of the size of Radiator Springs Racers, or I'm sorry, Radiator Springs as it exists in California Adventure with Radiator Springs Racers, right? This is about a third of the size at 4.5. So to get 2 attractions, one for the little ones and one geared towards maybe some older ones with that rally attraction around the perimeter, I think is a very good thing. And you can see the aesthetic of this land and how it kind of is a little bit more kid-friendly. I do think that's for a purpose, because the land behind it will be maybe a little bit more adult, as we'll get into. But Piston Peak, to me, it looks very, very good. However, I think there are still some open questions about how this all will actually fit.
And thank you, Remedy, for becoming a YouTube member. But yeah, I totally agree. You guys, you mentioned about those, like specifically Galaxy's Edge, and I know because of the, I guess, theme, all of us in space, so the indoor nature of the attractions, but not only because it's so big, but the indoor nature of the attractions doesn't provide really any kinetic energy. So that's one cool thing about this Cars ride. Yeah, it's outdoors in the Florida rain, but at least it'll provide a lot of kinetic energy even in small compact spots. So it'll feel more alive, both rides, I feel like, which is really cool.
And also adding to the kinetic energy, since it's more compact, you have more people interaction as well too, which also, and I think that's what Hogsmeade does so well at Universal.
That's a great point,
because it relies, like, unless you're at the one at Islands of Adventure, everything is also pretty much indoors. So a lot of the kinetic energy is from the interactions people are having with the land, and you're able to do that because you're in closer proximity. In Galaxy's Edge, since it's a lot more spread out, you miss that. So even everything's inside, but then also you're not really interacting with the other people.
Thank you so much for gifting 5 theme park memberships.
Thank you.
But yes, that is exactly right. When you're scrunched together, there's a lot of energy like that as well. And the main ride here, which you can see, kind of, and I love when rides do this. This is one thing I do like about the Incredicoaster. It wraps around Pixar Pier, and you can see it from everywhere. Looks like this Ridge Run Rally. I think that's what it is. I think it uses a different name, but whatever. I think that ride, it looks like it wraps around the whole land. So I like that. Love that part about it. I love how this ride will go up and down, and it's like an off-road race. It sounds really cool. It looks like it's using a different ride system that will make it be able to run in the rain. But of course, when there's lightning, you can't run the ride. So if there's time ever in Florida where it's raining and no lightning, this will be able to run like Donkey Kong now at Epic Universe. It was super cool. And I think this is a great ride idea. It's different from Radiator Springs Racers, but you'll have that same feel and go up and down, and includes like up and down. I like the different environments as well. What do you think, VashSky, about the Ridge Run Rally? I'm just gonna call it the Cars Ride attraction.
Yeah, the Cars Ride. Yeah, Ridge Run Rally. It's an interesting name, that's for sure. But you can see that they don't actually feature the word race, which I thought was very, very important here.
Yeah, and they took away the going from 2 tracks to 1 track.
Right, exactly. And I think they must have done that for their own reasons right there. So the direction for this, I think, has changed just a little bit. I think that initially they still called it like race day. I guess this is rally day, maybe. I'm not sure. But we do have Mater and Lightning McQueen actually conducting services. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see kind of how they're included in this. Are they incorporated in the same way that they are maybe perhaps in Radiator Springs Racers, or have they taken a different tact with this? That will be interesting to find out how much that might change here. But I am encouraged by just how much topology that actually is. The Imagineers, I believe, were asked or did actually confront the question of whether or not this is going to operate in the rain. They have said yes, this will operate in the rain. That has been taken into account. Obviously, Wizard, you are the student pointing out that, well, if lightning happens, can't actually go. But I wonder, a lot of this is outdoors, as you can see. And That's why the rain question came up. I do wonder kind of how the heat's going to factor in all of this.
That
Because
too. Yeah,
even though
it's pretty hot over there.
right, it gets pretty hot, and these mechanisms get pretty hot, and these ride vehicles get pretty hot, and all of that. And so I do wonder about that just a little bit. But I do. It's interesting. They've made the most out of the 4 acres that they've been given, and it runs the entire perimeter right there. And so you're going to have these kind of points at which dips down beneath walkways in order to still allow for access to and out of this land from various points right there. That should be a pretty cool thing. And because of the lack of room, it's like, okay, well, we can't necessarily do speed because we need a lot of track for that, or else the ride's 30 seconds. So what do we do instead? Well, we're going to do sensation. We're going to do movement and all of that. So I imagine this ride vehicle feeling maybe like a combination between Test Track and Indiana Jones Adventure, which could be pretty cool, right? That could be kind of fun, and it could be a nice way to enjoy this incredible surrounding and enjoy your foray into the Cars universe.
Yeah, and I'm sure the trees will be somewhat small when they're first planted, but I mean, looking at Grizzly Peak here in California today, the trees provide so much shade. So hopefully, in a few years or 10 or however long it takes for the trees to grow, then I feel like there'll be a lot more shade in the land, which will be very nice. But this looks gorgeous. Anyone who's been to Grizzly's Peak, I mean, all 3 of us obviously have, but if you guys in Florida, or if you're watching in the East Coast, haven't been to Grizzly Peak in California Adventure, it's like top notch, and this is what you're getting like on like a big scale. So I think this will look so good just to wander around, even if you don't want to ride the rides, or if you're taking this as a path to Villain's Land. This will look really nice. And yes, we should acknowledge that that is the, as we saw just in that B-roll there, the restroom building is behind the Haunted Mansion. I know there's a lot of speculation on what that could be, but yes, it is just a restroom building. That may disappoint people or not, but that's what it is. And this is let's move over behind here to, oh, by the way, the geysers. Oh my gosh, the geysers look so good. Fingers crossed they can keep them working, because if you watch lovely Fresh Baked, shout out Fresh Bakes construction updates, the geysers at Grizzly River Run are like never working, and they fixed them and they broke again. So I hope they keep these working, because that's such a cool element. And I think they named one Old Tireful. It was some like play on Old Faithful. So since they named it, hopefully they'll put a lot of importance on it. But yeah, let's move over to behind here. Or anything else on Piston Pink before we go to Villain's Land?
I think the only thing I'll be worried about,
yes,
and we don't know. So it's, and you know me, capacity.
yes.
So we don't know what it's gonna be running, and how many trains are gonna be going.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, I think, and if anyone could do it, Disney could do it. But it's what's going to be the demographic for this ride.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it going to feel redundant in a park? And I think the ride vehicle kind of takes out the redundancy of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But in a park that has Big Thunder Mountain and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Mm-hmm.
So is it going to feel too similar for the thrills and that? So that would be like my only thing. So just so we're not all positive, and and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, because I think Disney will figure it out. But those are kind of just the 2 things that came to my mind. It's just capacity, and then kind of like the target.
Well, also, I mean, it looks like obviously it's a different ride system than Radiator Springs Racers, but we all know that Radiator Springs Racers goes down quite often, raining or not raining. So that would be something to watch for too with this type of system.
Well, I think since it's going slower, I don't think it's to have that, because it's not really focused on speed. So we have to see if they're going movement. Is it going to move kind of like Indiana Jones and be more like that, or is it going to be just more of elevation changes for it? And then that's where I was going for, just like the ride demographic, because are you overlapping on that well again of your Seven Dwarfs and Big Thunder? And that aspect, which you might be.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, actually. Alan. I don't quite know if this in fact will offer a distinct ride experience from those offerings right there. I think it will. I think that they really want to emphasize the motion, and they want to really emphasize maybe the simulation of motion in that regard. I know that describing this, I think at the Experiences Showcase, they were saying, hey, you're going up the mountain, right? That has a bumpiness factor, but when you're going down the mountain, it's going to be very bumpy, right? And so that might be very distinct in its feel from some of the other offerings. I don't know how distinct, and certainly I think the topology and geography and the things that you actually witness on the sides of you are going to play into the overall experience right there. I'm a little bit disappointed though that this second attraction didn't really I don't know. It didn't. It wasn't so much out of the box thinking when it came to the implementation of that second ride. I think it's an adaptation, I do believe, of the four wheel rally attraction at Disney Adventure World in Disneyland Paris. It looks like it was just plopped out and plopped right in here. I would have hoped that you would have gotten maybe like a Rollickin' Roadsters type thing, or maybe like the second variation of that, maybe with some other elements involved. But it just looks like they're just like, hey, instead of Mater doing this, we'll go ahead and do it with Fritter, and it'll be kind of like a combination between Four Wheel Rally and Mater Shrinker Jamboree. I would have liked to see a little bit more, but I think overall, I think it's pretty solid. And a lot of Disney fans were like, you know what? We'll give this a shot right here. And I think they had to bring out the goods at least this time, because I think there was a lot of pushback to that August 12th blog post saying that Rivers of America was going away.
Yeah.
So nice to see them come up with the goods.
Yeah, I think this is good. The model looks amazing. We'll see how it looks when it comes out. I think for me, like I said, just that target audience, and I even feel just like kind of thrill level, because like for me, like I rode Seven Dwarfs Mine Train one time, and I never really felt the need to ride it again, because there's something else in that park that kind of is very similar, and just like in the thrill or kind of like the experience already. Because we forget Big Thunder Mountain. That's another one where Disney, they're creating nature. So they did it with Big Thunder Mountain. They did it with Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and guess what? They're doing it again with Disney Peak. Maybe this is me being more something. Maybe they should have went to a different park in the Orlando Resort.
That's an interesting idea.
That is an interesting point for sure. And they well, that's about all they said about this. Yeah, they didn't say any opening years or anything, but looks good. I'm sure there'll be some food in there somewhere that they'll reveal later on. But
It'll open in 2037.
Everybody. I love new mountains, so I'm just glad new mountains are being added, and there's another new mountain being added over behind this, and a Villain's Land. And so glad that's the official name, because it's in the great name, Villain's Land. This one has a story to it. They said, "Oh, hold on, wait. All right, I'm looking for the B-roll." Okay, it's not here.
It's give me a second.
So this one has a story to it. They said, sums it up. Someone put some dark magic in the wishing well and unleashed all the villains, and voila, Villain's Land. My favorite part about this whole thing is, and I don't even know if they even changed direction, but assuming that the rap article had any truth to it a few months ago, it looks like they veered far away from whatever that article was saying, which was great, and went literally to the initial concept art they showed us 2 years ago. I love the trees that are inspired by Snow White's dark forest. They went with the intense. It seems like this. I don't know. This might be the most intense coaster in the park. Maybe at this Maleficent coaster. I don't know what it entails, but at least it's not family friendly like Yzma or whatever. It looks like it's actually kind of like scary. At least the Maleficent theme is scary, which is cool, and a nice e-ticket dark ride. And that looks like it'll use the same scoop system as Peter Pan and Adventures Campus, but And Disney, this part of the presentation, by the way, on the parks panel was very confusing because not Glenn Coast's fault at all. She's just saying what she's supposed to say. So made it seem like Krilla's gonna ride, but then she's not. So, but she literally said so. But weird. I don't know. Whoever wrote that part of the presentation should have rethought that whole thing. But Krilla's not getting a ride; she's getting a lair, which is probably like a meet and greet spot. But this looks like really cool. This is also about 14 acres or something, about the same size as Galaxy's Edge. But again, outdoors, so kinetic energy, at least for the coaster part. And I'm sure there's more details to be revealed later. But what do we think of what was revealed so far with the Maleficent coaster, the model they showed on the video or the YouTube video afterward, and the new dark ride about the magic mirror taking you through the different villains' realms or something?
I will start off because the dark ride, it's a boat ride. So I'm gonna go kind of what I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How many boat rides do we need in one park?
Well, that's interesting you say that, Alan.
They did. Scott and Attraction Magazine, they did confirm it was the Disney. They talked to Disney Imagining and confirmed it was a scoop vehicle for that one.
I'm just saying because when I go to the Disney World Resort, I'm like tired of all the boat rides. So I'm just saying, how many boat rides do you need in one park?
There's still a lot of boat rides, though.
Because now you have Small World, and I know they're different, but you got Small World, and then you got Pirates, and now you're gonna have this one. But then you go, then you have I think you have two. You have one at two at Epcot. Yeah, you have two at Epcot, and then you have one at Animal Kingdom. And then if we count, Tiana.
Oh, yes, also a boat.
We've got some roll on this right here that just fully rendered. I was just waiting for that to go. Do apologize.
I'm filibustering.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's filling in time. It'll
be like Avengers. But hopefully not a lot of screens though.
But I think we just go to that and maybe like it's me because I look at the kind of ride systems and experiences, and I think if you're always doing something similar, it could take away from it. I am excited about the coaster though.
So let's get that roll. Let's look at that roll going because
go.
this coaster stuff is really interesting. We saw this is the original concept artwork that they released in 2024 about featuring Villains Land, and it did have a coaster concept right there, with the thorns and everything else, and the rock work like you can actually see swooping right there.
Let's think that is zooming through.
I know, right? And it's like it's got those waterfalls right there, and a lot of people were like, "Man, are they going to bring that to reality?" And I will say, I was heartened by the idea that it looks like they're following that concept artwork that just works so well, as closely as they are. And so we got a video promoting the coaster itself, right? And it looks to me like a Vekoma coaster. I didn't see,
sure it is.
It's Disney, right? So that's a very safe bet.
Exactly. Then Alan knows where I'm going with that. It's just that's who does the
there's that boat. There's
that boat. And let's okay. So while it's on screen right here, you can see.
I mean, so this is interesting.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Is this? What do we think this ride's gonna be themed to? A boat and have like mist effects or something? Because they did say again, this is, and you can kind of see it right there. But it's just what do you call it, their version of Peter Pan. But so are we gonna do we think we'll be flying in a boat like this?
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. If it's like Tokyo's version of Peter Pan, I'm for that. So hopefully it is like that. But then it's like, okay, but then I better see Hook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, please. Hello, you're the villain.
Jim Shaw, before the presentation, I think like a week before in the week leading up to D23.
Mm-hmm.
He said that it would be nice to have clarification on the manufacturer and the ride system being used for a magic mirror attraction. And he was alluding to the fact that it was going to be a scoop vehicle like Infinity Defense or like Peter Pan at Tokyo Disney Sea and Fantasy Springs.
Right.
And it does seem, I mean, if you look at the configuration right here, you can see 3 rows. And that's very indicative of this Peter Pan / Infinity Defense ride system and how it is laid out. Some people were saying, well, maybe this is using the Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean ride system. And I will say, even with the Avatar concept that we saw, usually that's about like 5 or 6 rows. So there's some missing elements there to suggest that they might be going in this direction. We're still waiting for official announcement, but people are pretty sure.
Well, we have one. Hold on. Let me pull up the tweet. Hold on. All right,
Please,
pull up
please,
the-
go ahead.
Oh my god. Yeah, let me. It's the
'Cause we gotta
WDI
figure
people,
this
they
out here.
confirm. The WDI people, Attraction Magazine and Scott talked to Attraction. WDI. And they said it was the scoop vehicle, not dark. This is dark ride, not a boat ride, with the scoop vehicle, but I can't find the. Oh, hold on, they post too much.
Oh no, I look at it. It says like if it's scoop, then I'm all for it. Like something different. And I said I've ridden Peter Pan in Tokyo, and it was fine. I think even if this is more screen based than we would want it to be, I still think it's okay because it's something different in the park that gives that different experience to make it well rounded.
That's a fair point. I kind of am on Alan's side when it comes to the overuse of ride system technology, specifically like trackless ride vehicle technology.
Oh
We
yeah, 'cause
heard that
the trackless is like it's just always a lot of empty space. I feel like
it's just a lot of empty space. It's just these warehouse like structures, and they're huge buildings and everything else. And I don't think that Imagineering has necessarily leveraged that technology in the best way possible, except for maybe Pooh's Honey Hunt and maybe like Mystic Manor. Outside of that, when it comes to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, when it comes to certain aspects of Rise of Resistance, when it comes to like Ratatouille and all of that, it's kind of like some of it's like, could we have used another ride system to do all of this? Maybe, perhaps, possibly. So to do something different here, I think might be a very, very good thing.
Okay, so here you go. It says, I guess they checked with a Disney representative at D23 who said it was a dark ride, not a boat ride, using that same Peter Pan
Good.
adventure system
Good.
over here. So that's what's going on over there. But yeah,
I agree
hopefully
with
we'll talk to
I agree with John though. I agree with John. He says
yes, please have some real planes, man.
oh, but Nikki J, she's excited for this land though.
Me too, Nikki. I'm gonna book a ticket immediately whenever it opens.
Actually, I would just say shout out to Nikki, theme park hipster. She was actually at D23 as well.
Let's go, Nikki.
So yeah, she was showing me the ropes out there. So she was out there doing her thing, and I was just trying to assist her with some research. But yeah, she was doing her thing out there.
Shout out to Nikki. We'll see you next 2 years or 3 years, whenever the next D23 is, because we all got to go. Bring you two with me, because it's gonna be amazing. No boat, John. Oh, okay, let me go back. Okay, so
And then you have this concept of the Dark Forest, right? Which a lot of people are suggesting maybe that was the original name for Villain's Land until it was like, you know what? Let's not reinvent the wheel here. Let's just go. Let's just go with Villain's Land. So maybe they listened to Jenny Nicholson or something when it came to that, which I'm fine with. It's like, okay, if people are just going to refer to it as Villain's Land anyway, you've already got a good thing going. You already got search engine optimization. You already got people searching for it. Like, just leave it. And I think that's the most appropriate thing to do in this instance right here. What I was saying before, that coaster right there looked phenomenal. And there's some footage that they actually released after the show showing more aspects of that coaster with the model work and everything like that.
Super cool.
It looks really good. It reminds me a little bit of... there's that Blitz coaster. Maybe, Alan, you can help me out here. It's kind of like...
Terran?
Terran
Terran.
with that rockwork right there,
Yeah.
and like a Velocicoaster, kind of reminded me a little bit of those things. So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was
that's
saying.
interesting. Like, okay, taking some notes there, but if it's combined with Maleficent, which you should have an encounter with during this whole thing, and maybe that involves a fire-breathing dragon, that could be very, very cool. Again, Beastly Kingdom. It could be awesome. I am very curious if there will be launches here, if there will be a traditional lift hill, if what's the assemblage of all these things. It looks like they are going launch, but we'll see.
Yeah, it
There'll
looks
be
it looks like launch, and I think with around if they're putting it around the land, it'll be a multi-launch. Like if we're assuming it's Vekoma, they do have their Bermuda Blitz, and they're having their multi-launch coasters, which they are intense, and they have versions that they could dial it down as well. So I am pretty excited about that, just to see what they are doing with the Disney budget and where they're going to scale it.
Yeah.
And they said in the official description that this coaster will have elements not seen on a Disney coaster before. So I guess we'll find
Like
out what
airtime,
those
though.
will be. That's correct. He agrees.
None of the coaster that's ever opened, like that Beastly Kingdom concept. I'm telling you, the dragon, the coaster, it's all coming back. It's all new again.
I love it, and I do love this style. My goodness, look at this creepy vibe. Oh, and some of the villains being mentioned, or at least highlighted for Villains Land. There are 3 of them. I honestly forgot the other 2 because all I remember is Dr. Felicier, and I'm thinking, my goodness, there he is. He's here, but he's not in his own ride next door. But at least he's here, and I'm so couldn't be prouder. So I'm glad Disney likes you, Ken Doctor. So
There's that track.
There's that track right there.
Yeah,
look at that. I mean,
Yeah,
it
look at
looks.
that. Look at those zoop and zoop. I mean, hello.
So, Wizard, would you write this?
Yes. Well, yeah, it shouldn't go upside down. Well, even if it goes upside down, as long as it's not a vertical loop, I'll try. I'll write that.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were doing vertical loop. It didn't look like any inversions. Some people were saying corkscrews, but I'm not
It's super
seeing
cool.
that.
Just look at it going right through the rockwork. Oh, those are my favorite types of coasters. I love going through rock.
It looks like it's inspiration from Terran, and Terran doesn't have any inversions on there.
Right.
So
And it's a cool themed vehicle. I like the little dragon. I mean, I guess the big dragon as the lead car there. But look at those trees. So cool. Oh my goodness. Smash hit on count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smash hit.
So these trees, I guess, were inspired by Snow White, the 1937 animated classic right there. I kind of find it funny because it's like, oh, okay, so it's basically what Walt did back in 1955 with Snow White and the Dark Forest or whatever, the Enchanted Forest. That Snow White actually goes through on that classic dark ride. No, but I think I'm really liking the concept side of this. I'm really liking the tone of this because we were all kind of asking ourselves, especially after that rap article, as was mentioned before. Joe Taylor, obviously. It's kind of like, are they going to go a little bit more kid-friendly? Are they going to go a little bit more Isla Burke? And it doesn't look like that. It looks like they're going more dark more. It looks like they're going more adult. And I think that's why, I think that allowed for a more kid-friendly Cars Land so as to be a complement to maybe the more adult and scary. And they said scary multiple times, which was very, very good. Villains Land. I know that Disney, when it comes to scares and all of that, they've kind of walked away from that, and even maybe have changed some attractions in order to take out those scary elements, like Snow White's Enchanted Wish, for example. So to really commit to this, I think there's some courage there, and I do think they will be pleasantly rewarded.
I agree. I'm just glad I'm not going to any parties on these attractions in Villains Land. No parties allowed. Okay.
I agree with that because I would say, especially in Orlando, like I thought something with a theme like this would probably be on the West Coast first before the East Coast, because even Universal for rides that and for Forbidden Journey, they went and moved some elements around because the Dementors were scaring the kids.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
like I said, I do like the fact that Disney is saying, "Hey, we are going to stay with scary, and we'll see how long it lasts." But it's kind of like a throwback to the '90s, where even on the animated
Yes.
villains, they had a
Mhm.
presence, and even if it's not so much scary, it's darker. So it's evil. It's like not evil. It's an intent, easily identifiable intent of bad.
Yes.
And that's what I like, because I think sometimes, especially now, because when things are getting lighter, so it's they we just know that they're bad, but they don't show like the overall portrayal and the atmosphere are bad. We're just saying, hey, this person's over top, they're bad because they're bad, but
Mhm.
we don't see where they're coming from. We don't see everything around them, and how everything around them is dark and bad, and kind of like where they're coming from. So they
Right.
carry that presence, and
I
I
like
think that's
that.
kind of missing in some of these modern Disney movies.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because even like in
And
Toy Story, like Sid,
mhm.
and then even after that, I forgot, because but the what was it? It was Toy
The
Story 2.
Lotso Bear? Oh no, that's
Well,
the
no, but because remember, because the toy, he wanted to be a collector, so then he was bad and he was doing some dark things. Like they had those
oh yeah.
presents, and that's missing from other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Walt Disney used to say, "Hey, kids like to be scared," and I do think that's correct. I do think they do kind of like to be scared. I know we've changed we've gotten into this culture where we have to kind of almost baby kids and really watch what they view and so forth. Which I think some of that is fine, but I think you can go a little bit overboard, and I think maybe
Mhm.
exposure to some adult elements, or I should say scary elements could be I think it doesn't have to be looked at as negatively as I think it has in the past. I think
Mhm.
Disney's really being careful about kind of drawing that line right there, getting right up to it, and providing something that I think is both acceptable for children and wanted or desired by adults. That's going to be a tricky line to kind of thread, and really stick the landing on that. I think they're in
Yes,
the process
John.
of doing that. I was really impressed by Carolyn May and her description of all of this, and her enthusiasm for all of this. And I was surprised by that, because I didn't think I was going to come away with that impression after the presentation and after D23. But overall, I'm liking where this is going. Stick with it. Stick with with what you're doing here, Disney, and you're going to be all right.
So, question for Mr. OK Universe here, a comment really from John. I has to answer this because OK
Oh,
Universe has to answer. What we
Dark
really
Universe.
can't end up like Dark Universe where there's nothing to do in a bar with no chairs or benches to sit on.
Yeah, the problem with Dark Universe is that there's something that brings you into the land and keeps you in the land, and then when you go to the darkest part, like he says, you can't sit there and kind of enjoy it, and
Mhm.
there's no presence. So, and since you're so far in, there's really no kinetic energy. So you sit there bored with there is nothing to do.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but and that is not the actual model for the coaster. It's just it's a concept model.
Oh yeah, concept model. Yeah.
Well, concept or not, looks pretty good.
Oh no, it looks good, and I like that, but it's like it's not going to show like element by element.
Yeah. It might not show waterfalls, might not show,
Yeah.
But
theming, painting, all of that,
yeah,
even scale, or they're just trying
I'll
to
tell you,
maybe perhaps provide a feel for this.
no,
they
which I
bring
like
that
it.
to life right there. The waterfall thing, if they can bring that to life,
Oh, no,
I'll pay
and Disney could
whatever
do it.
Lightning Lane needs me to pay.
No, and Disney could do it, which is why I'm excited, and I think it could be, at least out here, their first multi-launch
Hmm.
Heck yeah.
coaster in the Orlando Resort, because and that would also bring a different ride type as well, especially if they're launching you twice. They could do certain things. You could slow it down for some scenes and then be like, oh hey, here we're going again.
Yeah. I imagine, this might be their version of kind of like a Hagrid's, in that it's not like a super intense coaster. It's not like Velocicoaster. It's not like like a big boy coaster. It is a little bit. It plays to a little wider of an audience. But like Alan said, that same configuration, as we've seen with Hagrid's, right, where you actually have some show scenes in that, could allow for similarly show scenes around Maleficent, for example, right, in a similar way that you actually, round the bend, you see that kind of scorpion creature with the Hagrid himself and everything like that. Imagine you doing that, but with Maleficent trying to bite at you and throw fire at you and all that kind of stuff. That could be really cool. That could be really fantastic. And I think Magic Kingdom could very much benefit from this, which is something totally brand new, something totally out the wall, and combines the elements that we are familiar with, but also giving something very unique.
I'll tell you, Vash, if they get a indoor giant animatronic before we get one in Phantasmic, I'm gonna be mad.
I'm gonna be very upset. If
It's gonna be
that's
like the
case right
T-Rex.
there.
It's gonna be like the T-Rex in Jurassic World.
That was dope. But yeah, I swear, if they get oh my, come on, you stole our dragon. My goodness. I think, yeah. But yeah, this is super cool. I think it'll be a smash hit. I think the coaster will be certainly different from anything in Magic Kingdom, hopefully. And that'll be pretty cool. It will draw a lot of people back then. And another coaster that Disney World is getting, and I'm saying until we get one, our poor little Disneyland Resort hasn't got a new coaster in 25 years. And look at Disney World getting like 6.
Where are they gonna put it?
Take away something. If you're so keen to take away other things, take away something.
Hey, I told them all they need to do is take away freaking, I don't know what you call it now, interventions. Take away some of Autopia and just make us a different version of Tron.
Well, should we? I don't know. Do you want to pivot to the Tomorrowland discussion right there, or
We
or
could, but actually, let's just knock out Disney World first before.
Cool.
For sure. We're done with the Magic. No, okay. Last thing in Magic Kingdom Carousel of Progress, we found some small details. There's a couple of new pieces of concept art, but Jamie Lee Curtis is voicing the mom character. I don't know if she has a name, and then Bryan Cranston's voicing the dad character. Don't know if he has a name, but I know Vash, you're a Carousel of Progress guy, and I know Alan, you've ridden it. I've never ridden it. So, are you excited? Do you not care? It's just like whatever. Or there's Jamie Lee Curtis and Bryan Cranston making look, heck yeah, I want to.
Well, we also got some costumes
or it's a non-HD boy.
Can put up.
Oh yes, that's how we got some costumes. Here we go.
We get some costumes.
What do you think of these? I haven't seen the original ones, so I don't know.
Well, yes. Well, they're going with a different direction here. Obviously, they're pushing for the timeline. They're going to go 60s, 80s, 90s into the 2000s, and then somewhere then beyond. It's really important to get the actors right because it's not just John that's going to be leading all the segments. This now being voiced by Bryan Cranston, but it's also going to be Sarah, I think it's Sarah, Mother, voiced by Jamie Lee Curtis. And so, they want Mother to be hosting the 80s segment, with the big old, what is it, permed out hair, and the kind of business suits with the shoulder pads and everything like that. That could be some fun. And that's why they've gone with people who are I guess Jamie Lee Curtis is like a big Carousel of Progress fan. There's some video of her leading. Yeah, I think during her Legends ceremony, if I'm not mistaken, last D23 Expo, not this last one, but the last one in 2024, where she's like leading the crowd into a singing of the Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow.
That's fun.
Right, it could be very, very cool. So
that's good because when they're a fan of something, they're more likely to like give it their all in to the recording stuff.
Jamie Lee Curtis is a fan of everything, and I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's good. Be a fan.
Be a fan. But it could be fun. It could be really cool. Well, myself personally, right? I absolutely adore the original Carousel of Progress. I think it's a throwback in time, and not only that, but it really recounts this moment in history, right, where so much progress was actually developed. And this is something that Walt wanted for Disneyland back with Edison Square and that concept back in the 1950s. So, and Walt himself took an extraordinary liking to this. He even directed many of the scenes himself. Worked, well into many evenings in order to bring this to reality. Out of all the World's Fair attractions that made their way to that World's Fair in 1964, he really took an especially keen interest on this one because he wanted to see this precise diorama brought to life. And so there's a lot, there's a lot of history here. There's a lot riding on this to get this right. I'm still of the opinion I'd rather not touch it, or I'd rather preserve the original at least. But they're saying no, we're gonna go and we're gonna progress it forward right here. We'll see how this all pans out. This one I got to see more, but from what I have seen, I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot at least.
Mm-hmm. And this opens in spring 2027 for everyone that wants to know. And Alan, any thoughts on Carousel Progress and their new costumes and the actors?
This one, I don't have a dog in the fight. I think depending on the vision, since progress has never really, halted. I like the fact that they are continuing to update it, but we have to see how it is. But if they kept it the way it was, it wouldn't bother me either. So I get why they're updating it, but it's one of the things that you have to see how it goes to see if they updated it right or wrong. Yeah. So which makes it kind of hard to be like, yay, be excited for it, because then they could also be like, oh, they just totally killed the spirit of it. Right. But I think they got two actors, good actors to do it, who care about it and who are fans about things, amusement parks and sci-fi. And Jamie Lee Curtis, she does everything like with video games and conventions too. So like I think with her being interested in it and excited about it, and means that she'll probably help bring it to life better than some other people. And hopefully, even if it's not the best thing we've seen, the performances resonate with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it should be cool, and it's opening somewhat soon, spring. So just several more months away. So that'll be a nice.
I do think the good thing about this is that the Carousel of Progress, it's a ride that's easy to update again if they need to. So
yeah, because change up to some of the scenes. So looks good, and I just can't get over that cute dog. My goodness, look at him.
Disney has 36 rides. DTA has 18. Walt Disney World meets. Well, I'll do this. Wizards was talking about roller coasters, not just rides.
Yeah, it's about roller coasters. I get. I know
also,
we have a lot more.
You guys have 4 parks.
Yeah, but come on now, like seriously, come on, people. But going over to Epcot, getting some more updates here. Unfortunately, the lights weren't part of it. Just kidding. But we have a couple of updates here for Spaceship Earth and Figment. Now, Spaceship Earth was announced to get updated in 2019 before the world came to a halt. And so did that update. But now it's back in action. They said this new story will be about human connection. I went on this once when I was younger, but I don't really remember it at all. But super cool, I think. Should be cool. And then Journey to Imagination with Figment will be getting an update. And Dreamfinder will be coming back, right? He's not in it now. Is it or not?
Dreamfinder
is... Yeah, Dreamfinder, he's returning.
Back. He's returning. Okay, so he's not here and he's returning. That's what I thought. I want to make sure I wrote that down correctly. So that's cool, I think. Yeah, cool. Yeah, what do you think, Alan? Cool? Yeah, not cool?
Cool. Was it Spaceship Earth? I have a soft spot for that ride, probably because even if you in Epcot, there's not as many things to do as other parks, and on hot days, it's a good place for AC. And on rainy days, it's an indoor attraction to ride. So I have a soft spot for it. I actually like it. So I'm excited for the update. I really am. I will be honest.
Cool.
I am not that huge of a Figment person, so with that, I'm like, whatever.
And one of the reasons why
Yeah.
Alan is not a Figment person is because, well, they've let the attraction atrophy for all this time. And I do think Tom Corliss made a good point when talking about this on Walt Disney World News today, saying that, look, there's been generations now who haven't necessarily grown up with a decent view of Figment and or the Dreamfinder. Dreamfinder, obviously. Oh, I'm sorry. The Dreamfinder has been out of commission. Has been just horribly removed from that ever since the 1990s, ever since that Tom Fitzgerald Kodak update right there, and just didn't work out very well. And almost immediately, everybody pushed back against the update, and they had to, push in a bunch of Figment because merchandising was going, wait a minute, hang on here. Do you know how much merch we sell off of Figment? This is ridiculous. So that's when it was updated to Journey into Your Imagination and all of that. But the Dreamfinder stayed out of the attraction right there. And I know there have been multiple efforts over the years in order to bring back the Dreamfinder into its proper place and restore this to its 1980s vintage as originally conceived by Tony Baxter and others, right? And it's really sad that that Imagination just hasn't held up, or at least the various iterations over the years. So I'm really glad that they're finally addressing this, because it's like, okay, you're updating the Carousel Progress. We didn't ask for it, but you're doing it. You're updating Country Bear Jamboree. We didn't ask for it, but you're doing it. It's all these different things, all these different company initiatives, and it's like, when are you gonna bring it back home to Journey into Imagination, especially with the amount of merch that Figment sells and everything like that, and the amount of nostalgia that's connected to it. You would think that they would have approached this thing years ago in order to continue that trend. But the problem is that now that Dreamfinder and Figment has kind of fallen off because this attraction has been taken care of, well, you end up with a generation where you have the Allens of the world saying, you know what, I have really no attachment to it. And so hopefully this cultivates a little bit more attachment in that. Hopefully you've got kids that are inspired by the stories of Dreamfinder and Figment for new generations. I think that's really cool. Spaceship Earth, though, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we're going to update Spaceship Earth again, before getting Journey into Imagination, which thankfully was announced at the tail end of last night's program. This right here is, I love Spaceship Earth. I think it's the thesis attraction for all of Epcot, and they announced that they were expanding the theme, going from communication now to human connection, which is going to be very interesting because they tried to expand the theme before with going from connection connectivity to storytelling back in 2018. So it looks like even that concept is no more. They are taking a different tact with this version. I will say this is going to be very difficult to update because with its construction and everything else, it's very, very difficult to work on this from the inside out. And so I do wonder how ambitious this is all going to be. I do wonder how long this is all going to take. I do wonder how impactful this will be to guests looking to go to Epcot and enjoy all those attraction shows and everything else. Like Alan said, it's a big, it's a big way to beat the heat. It's a big way to, go on a ride that is a people eater and so forth, get out of the rain and all of that. So how long, how much is the company going to commit towards this? It's going to be very interesting to see. We need a new narrator, that's for sure. I think the lead Imagineer working on this said that this had to be updated for 20 years. Absolutely correct right there. I do hope that they keep the best parts of this attraction, which is this kind of journey throughout history kind of thing, with at least in this iteration, going through connections and so forth, and all of that, and connectivity and communication and all of those things. I hope they keep all of that. Maybe just rebrand it, maybe just expand it, maybe, give those audio animatronics a little bit of a tweaking. But I think they said that they were going to bring this into the modern era and even beyond. I do wonder what that means. Do we get rid of the scene of perhaps the moon landing and so forth? Do we get rid of the scenes going, talking about the early computerization and early computers and all of that, with that foxy scientist that's in there, which I always kind of like. That's pretty cool. I'm curious about that because Carousel Progress is going to have some overlap with this when it's updated. So do they adjust that for those reasons? Do we finally get a new ending scene? All those questions were not answered, and we'll see how it goes.
So you're saying they Spaceship Earth might get a new narrator before Studio Tour gets a new narrator? Great.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think they love their Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. At least, oh, thank goodness they updated him for the 60th stuff, because for a while there, you saw him with his little short haircut like 10 years ago. I'm like, man, they're using the oldest video of Jimmy Fallon. But that sounds really cool. I know. This ride is a nice long ride. I like those nice long rides that are, like you said, it's good to go in the AC, and cool to see a whole bunch of animatronics everywhere. So I hope they do it lovingly. I hope they do Figment lovingly, because Figment got quite the roar over there when I was in the panel. Spaceship Earth got like some sort of a half applause, but Journey to Imagination really got the crowd going. So I hope they don't mess up with those. And looks like Epcot, that's it, except for those lights. Maybe they'll incorporate that into Spaceship Earth budget. But
Hopefully.
last things about a Spaceship Earth, Alan and Vash.
No, I think I said it. Everything to
I
say.
thought you had something to say. There's one question for you, though.
Oh.
Yes, Almighty Coasters. When will the American U.S. Pavilion get a ride?
Never.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Sorry, John.
I hate to say it like that. Like, I don't want to be it. I don't think it's ever gonna get a ride. I mean, we could cheat and say Guardians was the American Pavilion ride. But yeah, I don't think the American Pavilion is a
And
good
then
ride.
also, is attendance not good for Epcot?
Epcot is one of the most attended parks in the world. But at least up until it has not achieved its pre-COVID levels, though. Because I think like its highest levels was like 2019. So before COVID shut everything down, and it was like 12 million. It was like 12.5 million annual, and it hasn't reached that. It hasn't reached that yet. But 2025 full attendance records hasn't come out yet, so we'll know probably in October of this year of how 2025, when they go at it, and they'll do its rankings. But I think it is one of the top 10 visited theme parks in the world. I think it's barely holding on there.
When is Epcot getting a new pavilion? I think he really wants a new pavilion, a new ride or anything.
That one, if I'm going based on things they're doing and everything that we're seeing, I think they're still trying to figure out COVID. Because after COVID, a lot of the workers they had in the pavilions, especially with the food industry, a lot of those restaurants they haven't opened up yet. So that's one thing I saw about Epcot, which is kind of really sad. There's a couple of restaurants in there that they can't open because they don't have the people, especially from different countries.
And I would say too that get the Morocco pavilion 100% before adding another pavilion.
No, and that's what I mean. I think that might go away.
Oh, wow.
But and that's what I was getting to. Like, I think they have to make they have to make a choice of stating, hey, what can't we get at 50%? What can we get at 75%? And I think in like 75% is probably what they need. And if they can't get something at 75%, is it going to go away? Because like you said, like the Morocco Pavilion, like that's been really like a shell of itself for how long?
Oh, I mean, 6, maybe even longer than that years.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like COVID actually wrecked some of these pavilions. And I think like what Remy D said, a Wakanda pavilion, that might be the way, but I know everything they're doing with Universal, because of east of the Mississippi, that's harder than you think, to get that through. But they might have to go and be like, hey, we want to go ahead and like they did with Guardians, incorporate something more fantasy to fill out these pavilions.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh no, say what you gotta say, and then I'll end on a funny joke.
Well, no, it's okay. It was an open question whether or not Black Panther could actually be utilized because he is technically in murals over there at Isles of Adventure in Superhero Island. So it is always been an open question. I think they could get away with maybe generic Wakanda, but then when you start incorporating Black Panther elements, how far can you go with that?
Yeah.
It's always going to be an open question. Like Alan said, it's a lot more difficult than maybe people surmise or imagine. So, but look, World Showcase definitely needs some love. Until then, Spaceship Earth, Journey to Imagination at the forefront.
Oh, and I'll add on to what Vash said too, since Black Panther is technically an Avenger, and other things, he's depicted as a mutant as well, which is why they can't use him east of the Mississippi. The Guardians, they were never Avengers, which is how they were able to. That's why they were able to use them at Epcot.
That's right, Universal. Keep those Avengers out of there.
Oh, it's Fox, man. Fox was like, "Yo,
come on, Fox, keep those Avengers out of there." And but don't worry, John, you'll get your new pavilion, the Abu Dhabi Pavilion, opening with the new park. Alrighty, next up, Hollywood Studios. We have one thing here. Monstropolis. So Monstropolis, they said that all of this land except for the roller coaster will open up first in 2027 with a new show called Welcome to Monstropolis, featuring Mike and Sully. Looked like a kind of late night vibe going on there, talk show vibe, but I don't know what the show is. But they have Pizza Rizzo becoming Archie's Scare Big Pizza. Oh, look at that. There's the B-roll. Nice. And we have there's the show. Archie's Welcome to Monstropolis. And then Archie's Big Scare Pizza. I love this little guy. And then we have the Scareporium, which will be a nice shop and land, maybe the main shop. And then we have Harryhausen's, which the blog post said will serve more than just sushi on the menu. And then, of course, the door coaster will open up a little later. And they said that will open up or rise you 40 feet in 4 seconds right from the station there on the little animatic they showed. And you'll be coasting away through all the door scenes, which is pretty cool. And I'm sure there'll meet and greets all over the land. Now, Vash, start with you because I know you're a big Muppet Vision fan. So, what do you think specifically of the show that is replacing Muppet Vision? Do you have hope that it can match or be close to the level of goodness that was?
Oh man, that's the big question.
Details, but
yeah. So it's very little details. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more from this whole thing. We of course, obviously, they're being a little cagey with that, which might be rightfully so. We also got the surprise announcement that the bulk of the land will actually open next year. Maybe without the coaster, though. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be able to get that coaster open by next year. That might be coming at a later date. But at least we will have the bulk of Monstropolis available to us. And so that creates a bunch of questions as to the quality of all of these things and all of that. And like Wizard beautifully pointed out, if in fact it will make up for the loss, the sad loss of Muppet Vision 3D. You can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here, actually. Let's see if I can go back. Boom and boom. You can see right there, it looks like to be a combination, I would say, of screens and maybe actually audio animatronics, which could actually be very, very cool. Maybe even 3D, although, even though they have that laugh canister actually going into the crowd. I don't see any 3D glasses on anybody, which is interesting. I would have thought that would have been a no-brainer, but I don't know. Maybe we see some some new technologies, some new gags and so forth, and some new way that these monsters can be incorporated into this theater right here. We can see a little drummer on the side, maybe perhaps an animatronic, maybe perhaps a screen. Not sure, but. I still contend that you could have maybe kept Muppet Vision 3D while incorporating it into Monsters Incorporated or Monstropolis, but this is the way they're going. We just have to hope and pray this will be worth, getting rid of one of Jim Henson's last creations. I know a lot of people aren't necessarily confident in that, but I suppose we have no choice. I don't know. I'm unsure, Wizard. But there is some other stuff though with this land, and some of the architecture looks absolutely phenomenal. Some people were actually saying that, hey, this might actually be very akin to Zootopia over in Shanghai. Which, if they actually do that, that would be very cool with all those kind of interactive windows and all of that. That could be awesome. So hopefully they do that. Hopefully they really give this this courtyard here.
John is all about those rides. Gotta have some entertainment in there, John.
You gotta have some entertainment. Yeah. No, you gotta be open for it. Come on.
Alan, what do you think about the initial looks or these new looks of the Monsters Inc. show and Monstropolis Land, and your thoughts? You are the almighty coaster, so your thoughts on Disney's first suspended coaster rising from the station.
I will say some of this too, like the theater looks like a reskin of Muppets.
Right.
Yeah. So I think I don't mean that as an insult. So it shows, I think, why they have the aggressive timetable for this land. I get the move to Monsters from Muppets, just because trying to keep something relevant for the newer generations, but also something that adults also like. And it's kind of like, even though like they're different, they're kind of like in the same vein. Hopefully Muppets, they could, and I think that's probably part of the reason why they have Muppets also, for now Rock and Roller Coaster as well too. So they said, okay, hey, since we're doing that, we could get rid of this show as well. So it is kind of sad, but I get the reason for the move. The land from concept art looks good. We just have to see how it translates. We have to see how it translates in real life, especially if it's going to be live next year. Also makes me wonder that if they're doing Monstropolis, it's kind of funny how they're getting rid of monsters over at DCA. But that's so I do think that's weird. Suspended coaster.
Yes. Come on, Almighty.
I'm actually excited because I see it doesn't have to be super thrilling. It doesn't, especially when you already have because you're already in a park with the Rock and Roller Coaster, with Tower of Terror. You don't have to be it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be crazy. And then I've seen some suspended coasters that tell stories that other companies are doing in smaller FECs around the world. So I'm really excited to see Disney's take and the story that they're going to be willing to tell with a suspended coaster, with the doors and everything too. And you see, hey,
that is.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, we're turning for scenes. You're going up the one way, you're turning the other way as well too. And there's some, you can look it up. There's some smaller coasters that have their suspended coasters and the seats turn for stories. So I am really excited for what Disney's going to do. And then because of that, if they want to do something a little bit more thrilling without the ride being, I guess, your typical thrill, because now you're taking an element backwards, still with the scene, right? So then your forced perspective changes that. So I'm really excited for that. So with anything, I'm just more excited about the theming around this ride, more so than the ride itself. And that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. Obviously the door scenes with all the doors flying around, going through there, and then going indoors and going to different little worlds and coming out of the doors. I think it'd be really cool. And the King Arthur ride, that is nice, like a powered coaster situation. Little different than this one, but same cool idea. So I think this would be great. Another first for Disney Park. Look at Disney trying out. Speaking of different ride systems, what Alan was saying, somebody of the same coaster, now at least for this one, they're thinking outside of the Disney box. Still working with Vekoma, but still thinking outside of the Disney box. That should be pretty cool.
Yeah, and
that vertical.
Remy's right. It is in like I said, it is in Europa Park, and there's other ones too that other FECs are doing. So that's why I'm super excited to see Disney on this train. That opens it up. And the Vekoma Renaissance, I can't even talk. The Vekoma Renaissance is real.
Yeah.
and it's one of how Vekoma's integrated, so they're able to do all the stuff and do all this R&D for all these different rides. And so I'm really excited about that as well. So so their regular coaster models are getting better, but the R&D for these other coaster types is great as well too. So they're seeing what Mach is doing and everything, and Vekoma's saying we could do that as well.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that. That Vekoma, I think, could be really setting some trends here. Obviously, having great success with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's seen as like one of the best coasters that Disney's ever constructed right there, and obviously that has a lot to do with its ride system at play. The vertical lift, where from the float unload station from 4 seconds, 40 feet is very, very impressive, and it launches from there. That should be super, super cool. I think that's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic, and it might actually be better than the door coaster that we were actually going to receive all those years ago when they first teased this concept. I know Pete Doctor's been really looking forward to this, getting a door coaster into Disney's Hollywood Studios, and having us go through those famous the locations there from the first movie should be really fun.
Yeah. And it seems like, and that launch, the visual of that is going to be crazy. So even if it launches barely at 20 miles per hour, the fact that something's going 40 feet up in the air vertical and then launching off of that,
that's so cool.
Fantastic.
Imagine watching that from the station.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's gonna be a really cool visual. And then, like we said, like the door scenes, that's something that Vekoma, and that's something. Even if this is screen based, so even if this is Space Mountain, suspended Space Mountain, or or suspended Guardians of the Galaxy, because remember they already showed the screens with the technology to go through to go through warps in Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah.
So it's some of the kind of reusing technology, but they're doing it from a different perspective and a different sensation, which is what I'm excited for.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this could be one of the coolest coasters out there, and it might be my first ever suspended coaster, unless I ride another one before that. But
you haven't really
cool. Never. I still have to get up there.
Oh, I guess we're going to Magic Mountain to go ride Ninja.
Let's go.
Well, Peter Pan, that's suspended.
Oh yeah, but I mean that doesn't count. I mean, ET suspended.
There you go.
But I mean, I gotta get to Wildwood Grove and get on a Night Flight Express and then the other suspended coaster over there. There you go.
I'm worried for you for that one.
It's no good. It's too intense. What? It looks like it's a little nice.
That first turn is it's pretty much an immersion. It's your podcast, or I would have said like the D word with the near after like, but yeah, it's pretty much.
Wow, it looks like it's so friendly. I was like, that looks fun.
It is fun. But I'm just saying that first one, you're like,
I'll just prepare. If I'm prepared, I'll hold my stomach. I'm prepared.
That's right.
So cool.
You'll be on Hollywood Drift soon. Front row.
That's right. Pass order previews. Let's go. And Harryhausen's, actually, speaking of Harryhausen's, right on the screen. Though, like I said, they'll serve some sushi and more, according to them. But it's cool to have the octopus animatronic. It's like the one we have in Monsters Inc. in DC. I see him moving around there. That should be fun. Nice dining experience for everybody. And probably that was Mama Melrose, right? Was that a good restaurant? Anyone that didn't been to Disney World? Did you eat there, Mama Melrose?
Yes, never ate there. No.
So it's probably that probably
I stopped by.
How good it is.
was it 2023? And I was not impressed. But the problem, I think Disney World also has a problem where you compare all the food to Epcot anyway. So I think it's not good. But I wasn't really impressed by it, just even as a standalone either.
Yeah. Well, should be an improvement, and hopefully the show, like I said, is just as good or maybe better than Muppet Vision. But we'll see, I guess, next year. And then rounding off Animal Kingdom. Rounding off Disney World, we have Animal Kingdom, where we have a lot of cool details on something that is also opening next year. the Encanto ride and the Indiana Jones ride. Let's start off with Encanto. Encanto, we're going to a party here. Antonio's Fiesta de Encanto is the name of the attraction. Cool thing about this ride has no height requirement, which is great. Anybody from 0 to 1,050 can go ride on this thing, which is pretty cool. The ride vehicles, this is interesting. So the ride vehicles shaped like furniture, great for casita. The shape looks like it could be a trackless thing. A lot of people say it's not a trackless thing, but whatever it is, it looks. I hope it'll be awesome. I hope the house will move around you. Um, and looks pretty dope. In this carousel here called, all right, guys, El Carousel de los Animalitos. Has
Carousel of the
22
animals.
yes. There's 22 different animals, and I believe Heimlich is on there as well. Shout out Bugs Land. And then rounding out the land is Indiana Jones in the Myth of the Jade Serpent, where Harrison Ford's face is being used as, or body's being used as an animatronic, which is pretty cool. First time ever. Love Harrison Ford, even more so after Shrinking. I really like the guy. He's such a good actor on there, Apple TV. And then the story for Indiana Jones is that we'll meet up with Mr. Dr. Jones, and we'll be sucked into a portal into the underworld and face all these mythical creatures, including scorpions and this giant, beautiful looking serpent. And yeah. And then separately, there's the new another. They're gonna fix the Disco Yeti at Expedition Everest, and that's all of Animal Kingdom stuff. So, what do we think about the Encanto ride and Indiana Jones Almighty Coasters?
Encanto ride. I don't know what it is, so you know me. I'm gonna be very very cynical because as soon as I saw no height requirement, I'm like it's a boat ride.
Oh no. That's about right. Now, well, there's some open questions about that, Alan. To your point, right? We don't quite know if it's trackless. We don't quite know if it's the Z-Run kind of track system right there. Yeah. It's obviously going to be family friendly, but you're right. Yeah. I mean, you know, the no height requirement comes with maybe some concessions, right?
Yeah, which means it's a boat ride.
And because the vehicles do look like trackless, which again, we're talking about trackless. A lot of
boats have no tracks.
Yeah.
No. That I think.
To be fair to Animal Kingdom, I think they need one of those. They don't really have a boat ride.
No, and that's another reason why I think it's going to be a boat ride.
Because they're like, because Cali with rappers like thrilling and it's like rappers, right? But like a nice peaceful boat ride.
Actually, no. They do have a boat ride because they have what's it, Pandora?
Oh, the Navi River Journey. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
At least they have one. So like every park, Universal included, should have at least nice one peaceful animatronic built boat.
But like the concessions for that, I don't know what they would do. So a boat ride makes sense, especially going through the rainforest, and you can use it as you're going. Like I think a boat ride does fit that theme, especially if you're kind of masking that it's actually water and on a boat. But I do think, especially for that park as well, that kind of ride, a boat ride would be fine too. The other one would be, would be trackless, which I wouldn't really mind that one either. Of course, you're gonna be going at a low rate of speed, so it's gonna be just a really cool ride, almost like pretty much it's gonna be a trackless version of Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this would be perfect for like a Haunted Mansion, Mystic Manor type of situation, like where it just the house is all moving. I'm like, that's what I really wanted from this attraction. And these animatronics are great too. There's the capybara, and some of these are on the carousel as well, but some are on the Encanto attraction. And you're going to Antonio, and of course he's all about animals. So there'll be lots of animatronics. I don't know, did they give a number?
Yes,
50.
There's 50, right? Yeah, because that's what I thought. They said they're 50, but I wasn't sure if that was this charge. So 50 of them, which is 15 less than the Seagull Ever Pets, but they still got a lot of them, 50. So
he's keeping score.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of these are going to be pretty simplistic.
I hope that they didn't mention the animal exhibits, but this would be a great opportunity to add some South American animal exhibits because there's Animal Kingdom. So add them in later if you don't do it immediately, but that'd be a good thing to do. Yeah, like a real capybara. But yeah, I agree. Doc, I think they will be some simplistic ones, which is good because simplistic probably won't break. So that's nice.
Well, my problem with the trackless one, I always feel like they're gonna have that issue where it can break unless they purposely make it so. Because I think the technology it's gonna be prone to, if something's out of whack, it's gonna shut everything down.
You're right.
That's how that works.
Right.
So I still think the amount of downtime is probably going to be comparable to Mickey and Minnie's and Ratatouille and was it Beauty and the Beast and Rise.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. But I think so. I'm more about the forces for that one, and that'll be the concession, and maybe even how long it is too. Because then I'm also thinking for family ride, no height limit. I'm also thinking about evac.
Yeah.
From that one too, and I do know because I've been evacuated off of Minnie and Mickey's four times. Twice on both coasts. And depending on where I was at, you're walking a very long distance. So, and then and depending on what you're able to see, what's there, are they going to trust you walking, with a loved one with that long distance, or having young kids walking through there and saying, "Hey, stay off the props" as well. So that's going to be one thing that shall be interesting. But on to your other question about Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Yes.
What I think about that, I am cautiously optimistic. This one, I'm more excited about how they're putting the story together rather than the actual ride, because we've ridden the ride multiple times. We've ridden it as Dinosaur, we've ridden it as Indiana Jones, and then I've ridden the one in Tokyo as well too. So I've seen Indiana with different overlays. So so it all depends on the story, and then I'm excited about the fact that it's gonna be a brand new Indiana Jones. So the stuff they should put in there should look really, really good, as long as they didn't cut any corners.
Yeah. So the for Encanto, right? We're going with like this celebratory story, which is kind of funny. Oh, we're there for the party.
The party,
as it always is. But I think Antonio, being the kind of gateway to Animal Kingdom and its connection to Animal Kingdom and fitting this in, I think was like the most obvious, and I'm glad they went that way. Sometimes the obvious answer is the best answer, right? And so I'm kind of I'm speculating here, but perhaps maybe when Antonio gets his gift, the ability to speak to animals, perhaps that's when we can actually hear what the animals are saying, and all kinds of hijinks ensues and so forth. Maybe sort of like how you have hydrophones for the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, and how you can actually understand the animals and all of that. Should be pretty cool. They've described this as when you actually enter into Antonio's room, it's going to be very, very elaborate, very, very grand in scale and so forth. That should be pretty fun. Also, to the vertical sensation patent that we saw looks like to be connected to this. So that's one of the ways they are achieving that lack of height requirement right there. When it comes to Indiana Jones, though, it is very cool that Harrison Ford's on board, because he historically was not on board for any previous incarnation of the Indiana Jones adventures. So the models that they actually used for that were they were Indiana Jones-like in their presentation, and they always had voice actors that would actually give like a Harrison Ford kind of impression. So the fact that he is the model for this, the fact that he is maybe providing his voice for this, I think is very, very cool. Additionally, we got some information about the story, how it's going to be connected to Mayan culture and Mayan mythology, which is very, very cool. Apparently, the Imagineers doing a ton of research into Mayan architecture, into Mayan culture. in order to recreate something that would be at home to the old Mayan temples and so forth. Apparently, when the Imagineers actually showed the Mayan temple model to Mayan classical architects and historians, it was a standing ovation for what they saw. That's according to Joe Rody right there. So that's pretty cool. If people were worried about how this was actually going to coincide with the stories of Animal Kingdom, I think that should put a lot of fears to bed. Now, for the actual, I think it's like, is it Satuk or I can't quite remember the serpent's name, but the jade serpent right there.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, I forgot the name. Do apologize about that. But you're going to have multiple encounters with Indiana Jones as he looks for kind of an artifact that kind of sets all of these things into motion. And they're saying that you're going to have one finale with him as well, which should be very impressive. But that told me, well, we're not getting the rolling boulder, which is a strong choice. We'll see if the finale pays off.
Yeah, I mean, it could be I think it'll be really cool. Like again, especially with all those mythical creatures, large animatronics. I think they'd be really, really cool. And I remember riding Dinosaur one time. That was a fun ride too. So I hope it does justice and exceeds it. But I think it'll be nice to have Indiana Jones back on the East Coast with Encanto, and more importantly, Animal Kingdom will be back up to maybe about 6 rides again. So they need them. They need all the rides they can get, especially so this next one can go down. The Yeti.
The Yeti
get fixed. Expedition Everest. Or maybe not about, but eventually when this opens, because they need all the rides they can get. Can't get if the Yeti went down now, I think the Animal Kingdom had like 3 or 4 rides, so they can't do that.
They're saying on the Yeti, because there was some conversation about this, and let me see if I actually get some artwork of the Yeti itself for you guys right here, because
Disco Yeti will stop dancing. He's retired.
Damn, I'm sad. I like Disco Yeti.
I liked Disco Yeti too. No, I would prefer that he actually move, and the fact that they are committing to that, by the way, I think Disney Parks should be commended for that effort right there, because people have been complaining about that for years. Now, there was some question. Let me see if I can get this on screen right here. Sorry, guys. Do apologize. I know I'm a little bit slacking. I do apologize.
But I'm a West Coast guy, so at least when I was talking to people and talking smack, I could be like, at least my Yeti moves.
Yeah, at least my Yeti moves.
And now I can't say that anymore.
Right. That's funny. People were wondering whether or not they were going to replace this Yeti. And apparently Scott Goosen got to confirm that they're going to repair the Yeti. So does that mean that the original functionality that they incorporated into this attraction in the early 2000s is going to be the way that they're going to do it here? Is it that they're going to implement maybe a system by which they puppet this Yeti in a very similar manner that was described by Bob Gurr back in the day? We're not sure, because obviously the problems that prevented this Yeti from working in the first place, right, are still there. So what does repair mean? What does modification mean? We don't know. But they do seem to have touched up the scene. If the concept art is anything to go on, maybe we get fog, maybe we get new lighting, maybe we get new technology to showcase the Yeti in this way. I think all of those things are on the table.
Yeah, this is really cool. I cannot wait to ride this ride again.
If I'm guessing.
Yes.
If I'm guessing. Because, yes, the original limb facts are there. So I think it would like the repairs to be a replacement of parts of the Yeti so it could move without damaging the rest of the structure. And then having probably some other effects to hide the parts that aren't moving. If I was to guess. That's
a good point.
Because before they were saying for us to go ahead and fix the Yeti to its original functionality, they have to go and do the foundation.
Yeah, that's what Joe Rogan said. Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking if they replace part of the Yeti, because technology has improved. So so it's either you would replace the Yeti, which that's what I would think, but I'm guessing they're not doing that because he said repair. So I think it's replacing parts of it. So then it's still like a repair, kind of like a wooden coaster, like a wooden retrack.
Right.
And then it can move certain things. So then it's not messing with the it's not messing with the whole foundation.
Yeah, and the distinction is noteworthy because obviously it goes into how much work is going to be part of this whole thing. This one effect, by the way, has completely changed how Imagineering works, and this is where the term B mode has really kind of come out, all right? This idea that you have to have both access to these figures and something that you can kind of switch out if, in fact, one of these figures goes down. They didn't quite operate on that same level when this attraction was, being built, but now they certainly do. So I'm very curious because, as Alan mentioned, the distinction is noteworthy about what they're going to do here because that might signal how much impact this will have to a guest stay when going to Disney California Adventure. I'm sorry, Disney Animal Kingdom. Sorry, Disney Animal Kingdom. So, like, is this going to be down for weeks? Is it going to be down for months? Is it going to be down for years? All of those are part of this equation.
Yeah, and I don't think Animal Kingdom can afford for this ride to be down for over 6 months, let alone a year.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, and that's why I'm thinking I feel like they're gonna replace something in there. And the other thing is too, like I think Disco Yeti, which is funny, but because of that and the name it gets it, people know about it because it has a catchy nickname. Because I don't think it really affects the enjoyment of the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, is this good ROI? I think that's the reason why they haven't actually attached.
Which is why I think something has changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
To make it easier. So and that's why I'm thinking if they're going to go with the repair, I think they're replacing part of it, and it's going to be down for 3 to 6 months.
Yes, I think you're right about that. I think they want to mitigate, obviously, the effects that this has on Animal Kingdom. This is also why I think that they might be waiting for Tropical Americas to open and then take this down, kind of thing, in order to allow for the capacity of the park not to be impacted so significantly. But I do think you're right. 3 to 6 months is kind of might be what the target is. I do think something's changed, and we'll go into maybe what that is later on in our discussion.
What was it? Projection mapping. They're about the projection map for Yeti.
Projection mapping. Yeah, that's hello theme park and things. 5 jewels. Thank you for the 5
Very
jewels.
cool. Thank you.
The theme park and things with Johnny. Oh, looks like he does gaming too. Cool.
Oh yeah, Remy D talking about how the 2027 date might be at risk. It's interesting how they didn't actually elaborate on the date or when this was coming, the Encanto and Tropical Americas. I do wonder if that 2027 target is going to be hit, because if the video footage of the interior of Encanto means anything, it's kind of like, well, that's completely empty. How are you going to open this and operate it within a year's span? This might bleed into 2028, which is why they may not give a date.
Well, that or a partial opening of the land. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be partial opening. I think it's gonna be a phased opening for sure.
Yeah, and that could make sense if it does slip from 27 to 28, or if it's a day later a little bit. Could be a reason why maybe they're opening Monstropolis next year as something to offer if this is not ready in time.
Sure.
But all right, hey, West Coast, Best Coast time, man. It took an hour and a half, but we're finally here. Welcome to Disneyland. Well, it's too much. Be fair to Florida. Just be fair to California. Just kidding. I know Disney World, you need it. Avengers Campus. We'll do California Adventure first. Oh, let's start with Coco. Coco. I love me some Coco. So Coco, they showed off a couple of new pieces of concept art.
Guess
And
what?
Imagineering Pavilion, they had just one statue, and And yeah, so here we go. This is the one statue that had the magic. That there you go. That's all you get for Coco. But
I can't believe they showed out. They showed like a single statue. Here you go. Here's a representation of Coco. It's like,
Yeah,
what? You couldn't even give us
crazy.
a ride vehicle?
But no,
So
it's a boat. They just took it from pirates.
he's a boat. He's another boat, right? But California needs the boat, but it's the boat. So this boat ride is luckily under construction. It will feature elements in between Coco and 1 year after the events of Coco. So the queue was that lovely museum of Hector Rivera. This also will have no height requirement. And
It's a boat.
it'll have some Coco 2 elements, it seems. And that's about it. So, yeah, Coco looks great. Love Coco. I will be riding this probably when the movie opens in 2029. The boat looks very Navi River Journey like.
That looks like the place
But
in
I like
Epcot
this.
right there.
The oh yeah, the Navi the Cab 3 Caballero. I can't sound it. You
Yep.
know what I'm talking about.
Caballero.
This looks just like
Caballeros.
that, and that the other concept art before the ride, just like the
Mhm.
station there, it just reminded me just of that, and I was like, oh,
Well, that,
He's like skip.
apparently that's what the inspiration might have been, or the jumping off point for this whole thing. I will say there's a couple of things so that people have had questions about, and like, okay, how are they going to do this? You see right here, this is the courtyard, right? And this is the into the Hector Rivera Museum. Obviously, it's 1 year after the events of Coco. So if you know, Hector has been restored. He's back, and Ernesto de la Cruz, he's out. And yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he's back, and everything's all good. Now, people have been wondering, hey, its proximity to Incredicoaster, how is that going to bleed over in terms of sound, noise, atmosphere, everything like that? You can see this is a very enclosed courtyard. Maybe that's a reason why.
Yeah, skyline
for
wise,
that, right?
I feel like it looks pretty good with the trees and stuff. Hopefully, it'll block everything out.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I'm thinking as well. And then if you actually see here, it's really interesting, Almighty. I kind of wanted to go through this with you. It looks kind of like the Navi River Journey kind of boat system. Yeah, with the 2 rows and everything else. But if you see here, you have diverging paths around this this courtyard right here. I do wonder if there's kind of a switch track mechanism in place to maybe place, one on one side and then the boat behind you on the other, and so forth, and all of that. It's going to be interesting to see what this is going to be like. But if in fact this doesn't feature a height requirement, well, then obviously that creates maybe potentially an issue. Is this going to be a 2-level boat experience, right?
drop.
I don't think
doesn't
so.
seem like it, right?
No
No
drop.
drop, no incline.
just like
So,
Navi.
all right, just like Navi. And it's like, oh, if this is Navi River Journey Coco style, that might be a little bit disappointing for fans, right?
Hey, it's a world of laughter. It's a world of tears.
Oh, man.
Yeah. If the boats
guess
were bigger,
that's
I'd say
true.
maybe it could be like a little pirates. But the boats are so small, I feel like it's definitely like Navi River.
No,
Journey
I think
style
I think
situation.
it's Navi. I think this wants to be more of showing everything in Coco,
Mhm.
which I think will be fine. I really do. Depending on how impressive the inside of the ride is. I'm actually most for this ride. I'm most for looking to the area that's around, like the courtyard, everything
Yeah.
that's going in there. Plus, after that, the food. So I will say
Yeah.
I'm looking for the revitalization of that area, and I think that's the most exciting part of the ride for me.
Bar
Yeah.
chat from the Mexican Pavilion at Coco.
Well, because I think little stuff and San Francisco, I
Mhm.
think DCA's been doing a really good job at just having areas where you could just sit and relax and get some things and look at things. I think San Francisco is a good one of that. Over by Lamplight, Radiator Springs. So they make a lot of areas that that's anchored by something, and then just a nice pleasant area to be in. And like you were saying earlier, you like the fact where how Incredicoaster kind of goes around everywhere around Pixar Pier, but it makes it so there's a lot of parts in Pixar Pier where you could just look at everything.
Exactly. You should
And I
relax, sit
think
down, and relax, and watch
and
everything.
I think that's the purpose of this ride more so than the actual ride. And
I
that's
do.
mostly what I'm looking forward to. Because I will say I was kind of disappointed in the Navi River experience, but then I realized no, it's supposed to be another ride because Flight of Passage gets these humongous lines.
Right, exactly. I mean, and you want to have something that's a little bit more family friendly, which is why
Yeah.
that ride exists. But it's interesting because I'm hoping that we get maybe a Coco themed area with this, not just an attraction. But they have now said several times, both at the Experiences Showcase, at the Imagineering Pavilion in D23, in FCC documents, and now Gilles Torino coming out there, they are saying Coco themed attraction over and over and over and over and over again. I hope that expands, right? I hope that includes maybe areas of that Paradise Garden grill area, right? And the beer garden and all of that. We'll see. Obviously, the video that they released from DCA kind of shows that maybe this area is maybe perhaps going to be affected. I do hope they expand this out just a little bit because, like Alan said, I think like a Mexican hacienda type courtyard kind of thing could be really, really cool. But we'll see.
Yes.
Yes,
And,
well,
and it's in DCA, so I could get a michelada.
That's right.
that's right. So yes, Coco. Well, let's see. There's John again with another ride. No new Coco ride.
No,
just one.
because I think because the Coco is not going to be a land, and that's the thing. Because I think there's a difference between an area and a land.
Yeah.
And a Coco themed area is fine. Because and I'll put it this way too.
Or will it be a
for
Coco
us,
experience? Or
well, no,
Coco
for us to be in
destination
the
or
Magic
Coco
Kingdom,
area?
right?
Yeah.
They have a Tron area, not a Tron land, and
Yeah.
that area is really really freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean with Coco. We just need a Coco area because it's all Pixar, right? But then you're blending in, so
Yeah.
it
It'd be
goes from a
like the
natural.
Coco neighborhood. You know, they have the Incredibles neighborhood, the Toy Story neighborhood. So the Coco have its own
Yeah,
little
no. So
area.
if it makes a natural blending point, and
Yeah.
especially if it's a place that you're able to do a couple of things on the way there. It doesn't have to be huge. Just I want more so than just a banner saying Coco boat ride and go in too. It's like let's have it blend. Even if it's not like a sit down restaurant, even if it's a quick service thing, and it could be, it doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could be a food stand, but like with the courtyard and everything there. So the courtyard could be like its area that has some things besides just waiting in line. And I think that's what we mean by Coco themed area.
But Alan, are you not advocating for like a 14-acre Coco themed land with its own language and distinct restaurants, 2 rides? You're not. You don't want that?
And
shocked.
remember, how about a whole bunch of Coco meet and greet characters walking around that whole area
Exactly.
that
Yeah,
may or may not show up,
but-
and maybe some music if we're lucky.
We can't have Miguel though. We have to have newly created characters.
Yeah, no
that you can
Miguel,
interact with in order
and
to showcase
remember
your
me
Coco
is not
story.
allowed. No, remember me allowed.
And and then a shop where you could build your own guitar.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
build your own guitar. It'll be the greatest thing ever, guys.
I do like though that it's like we're not going to reinvent the wheel in this one either. Yes, the setup is going to the museum, and yes, it's going to be Miguel's memories. But from what we understand, it's going to be the experiences that he just experienced with Coco's. It's going to be more book reporty than a news next chapter story and all of that, which I think would maybe disappoint fans. So I like how they're doing that. Apparently, they're working with Pixar right now to incorporate maybe elements of Coco 2, which could be cool.
But wait.
So good stuff.
I thought, Vash, I thought you wanted a Coco ride that is themed to not Coco 2, but the future Coco 3, something we haven't seen yet, and we'll never see until
Exactly.
like maybe 5 more years down the line,
Yeah.
unless it gets canceled. Who knows?
We need the Coco co-op and
Bad.
But I'm glad DCA is getting this lovely boat ride for everyone because it really needs rides for everyone. So and a nice, like I said, a peaceful boat ride.
And
I feel like every park,
I-
including Universal, could use one of those.
I do
So,
think like that ride is good for DCA as well, because I don't know if there's any ride at DCA that has no height requirement.
mhm.
So I will concede that even though not everyone might not like it, Coco is a good property to have something with no height requirement.
Yes,
If it is a boat ride.
they need more family attractions. When that's true. But I will say, like Bugs Land, or I get it. I understand. It wasn't anybody's necessarily favorite land when visiting Disneyland Resort, but it did satisfy so many families with little ones. And when that was taken away, that's why Monsters Inc. It's 2-hour lines sometimes because there's nowhere else to go if you do have a family. So to actually add this, I think it's very, very cool. I think it's much needed by DCA, and a boat ride. Well, I understand Alan may not like them.
Hey,
DCA doesn't have any other boat rides.
No, I said I support this one. I just say just how many boat rides
Now,
you need.
we have a very interesting question. Will Miguel's family complain about noise from the credit coaster? Will my credit have to put some more walls up?
No,
Because
the Gill family does not live in Toluca Lake.
They might advocate for some sound barriers, but they have no political power either, so we're fine.
Oh man, that's funny. Sorry,
too many
Miguel.
references.
I hope
Too many
your family's
references.
okay. Oh yeah, but something that will also have a height requirement. Speaking of height requirements, and will be in space, so they don't even have to hear the credit coaster. Avengers Campus. Yeah, that's right. I think the best news out of this one was that path is opening from Cars Land to Avengers Campus pretty soon. Thank gosh, because it's a long way around to walk, a long way to walk all the way from Cars Land all the way to Avengers Campus. And they'll have some new bathrooms. New bathrooms are always good, especially at Disneyland where they're particularly kind of small. California Adventure, they're bigger, which is thank goodness. But Avengers Campus, the expansion itself, will have 2 new rides.
And 2 new bathrooms.
And 2 new bathrooms, which is great. You need those bathrooms, especially for the drinkers at California Adventure need to go pee. But we have one of them, the Scoop type of ride, where you're going through portals and a whole bunch of cool screens. Thank gosh they showed off some big physical sets like massive Thor's hammer and a massive Wakanda thing. So that's good. There'll be some large sets in there, not just a screen fest. Unfortunately, they still have those 3D glasses, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. It'll be fun for everyone. And
I like 3D glasses. You know what?
I hate those things. And I'm sure, oh gosh, he's gonna get his 3D glasses, and I'm sure it'll be a little bit, slightly to hopefully a lot better than Web Slingers. And then the other ride, look at this, ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And then you have Stark Flight Labs, which is a Kuka arm system, which is a first for California Adventure or first for Disneyland
This is
Resort.
coming out on my screen.
And
we got some
terrible.
visuals too as well.
I can't wait for the B-roll.
There we go. There's the B-roll.
I'm excited. Oh,
See, I couldn't
It's
see
like
the
he's
B-roll.
there.
I couldn't see the B-roll because I didn't have my 3D glasses on.
I'm like in there.
Alan's just there.
I'm in the vault, guys.
He's touching the coast, touching Infinity Defense side over there. And then so there's Stark Flight Labs, and we have I think this will be cool because first for a Disneyland park, resort park. But we have some of the actors reprising their roles. We have Iman Vellani will be in the pre-show for Infinity Defense. That's Miss Marvel, for someone who does not know. Brie Larson will be on, and Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Mackie will be on the Stark Flight Labs. They'll be your one of 3 trainers you'll take on your mission with you. And then Anthony Mackie, Jeremy Renner, or Captain America, Hawkeye, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, and Miss Marvel, and I may have forgot someone, but all
Chris
those
Hemsworth
guys,
Thor.
Thor, that's right.
Yeah.
I literally just mentioned his hammer earlier. They will be reprising the roles for the Infinity Defense attraction. And it's funny, then the Parks panel, when they showed some of the clips, you can tell that was like the ending scene. They said, goodbye, congrats, everybody, for your thing. So they'll be guiding you along Transformer style, and then you'll have a cool, fun ride, hopefully. And another great ride, another family ride for a California Adventure. I think it's cool. I think the best part, like I said, is adding another bathroom. I mean, really needs it, and and a walkway to Cars Land. But it'll be nice to have more attraction capacity. And then maybe if it's so popular, maybe when California Adventure gets a couple more rides, they can just rethink Spider-Man web slingers and maybe rebuild it. Take some time to
That's not
rebuild
going
it.
anywhere.
I know, but in my wish list, I would be demolish that thing and rebuild it to something cool.
No,
But
really,
but
they have Goofy Flight School still in that freaking park.
that's cooler than Spider-Man.
It is not.
It is. It's way better.
It is not.
It's way better.
If you were to ask me which attraction I would go on, like Goofy's Sky School or Web Slingers, I'm
say
choosing
neither.
Goofy's Sky School.
I would say neither.
Okay.
Alan's like, no, there's no dichotomy. I'm walking
You
away.
know Goofy's
You know what?
worth-
You know what? I'd rather ride Spider-Man because I could wear these.
Oh my god.
Oh wow, that is ridiculous. Very
My-
I'm just
insane.
that whole area of the park with Sky School just needs to be redone. So they need to do that before they even touch Spider-Man.
Definitely.
Because
I
at least
agree.
Spider-Man
I
looks
agree.
like he belongs there.
That is true. But Goofy's just way better. You know, Goofy's is even better than Villain Con. I'll tell you that.
Anything's better than Villain Con.
Oh man. Well, okay. So there's a couple things here. One is Stark Flight Lab to me, like every single time I see it, and the model, by the way, was weird to bring that out because it's just because people were like Piston Peak over here. Avengers Campus. It was kind of like,
no,
oh man.
Psycho Mouse up in Santa Clara.
This is one of the best.
Right,
oh
right.
yes, I don't know if it's one of the best.
Any of the Arrow mice, I will say that Goofy Sky School is the best operated mouse in California. But even even the Lego one, which is the same one as Goofy because it's by Mock anyway.
Yeah.
The Lego one is better than Sky School.
I will say that I agree with that one. The Lego one is the one at Legoland is better than Sky School.
Yeah, and they're all.
And it's better than the one at Knott's Berry Farm, even though.
Anyone's better than that piece of crap.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm. You know what? Yes.
Terrible. It's a terrible attraction. My
It's a
goodness
terrible
gracious.
attraction, terrible restraints, terrible operations.
Exactly. It's
That
like a
just-
triple trifecta L.
Like that needs to go before Sky School and freaking
I do
Villain
agree.
Con.
I agree with
And
that one.
You know what? I might prefer Villain Con over Coast Rider.
Let's go! He prefers
Wow.
Villain over
You-
something. Let's
You
go!
might have got me,
Yay! Mission
At least we
achieved.
can actually just walk.
Remy.
into
I
Knott's
love
Berry.
that. What
Oh,
Remy
no.
just said.
I think they should the hammers and then have them out and act erratic.
No,
That
that
was
would be kind of
so
fun.
And
funny.
and
It would remind
then
me of
Stark
the,
has to save you.
It would remind me of the
Yes.
Monsters Unchained like pre-show where they have the thing going like that. That'd be so cool.
And
Oh.
Alan's like, hey, have Iron Man save you. Have Stark save you. That would be
It'd
kind of
so
fun.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd
and
be a
then
good
like,
idea.
and then it could be like the end of it like it's like next time like you know where to go or next time like
Let's
in-
go. I don't even know if he's joking, but even if he is,
he is sarcastic.
go.
I'm about to ban him.
I'm taking that as fact.
He's about to get banned.
Alan does have some mod privileges. So.
He does. Watch
Just
out,
be
guys.
careful.
Alan is a mod.
No,
Not.
I'm gonna bring my ban hammer. I'm looking for it.
so
What's
I'm
that Villain Con thing? I have no idea.
Sandra
I am
Bullock.
continuously unsure about Stark Flight Lab. I have no idea how that's going to be received, how much kinetic energy that will add. I don't know. I know. Disney's really trying to make it to be the next all end all. I think somebody actually said, "Oh, there's going to be a once in a kind ride system or whatever." I don't know. I have I have no idea how that is going to go. But and Thor's hammer is very appropriate because
But the ban
Oh.
that guy.
Yes, you got.
And
I
hammer.
mean, come on, that's pretty cool.
I don't-
don't worry, Real Ventures, I got your back. But Infinity Defense, obviously, a lot of people have been waiting a long time for this, right? I mean, this has been like 10 plus years in the making. We have had 3-4 versions of this now. I know that you're going to have an encounter with King Thanos. And it's very interesting too because they actually filmed the sequences for this during Doomsday, so they had all the actors there in costume and everything. Let's go ahead and get some visuals out.
That's what makes it even more funny because Robert Downey Jr. is in there as Iron Man, but they filmed it when he was Doom.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Well, no, that's weird too because it's Iron Man, but then it's with Sam Wilson's Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that was so strange because they would never interact. Yeah, that's so weird. I guess it truly is a multiverse.
It is truly is a multiverse right here. I do like the video footage of large scale props being built.
Yeah,
right?
that really made me a little more reassured. I thought it was gonna be a total screen fest, or I was like, thank gosh, at least a couple in here.
At least a couple in here, and it looks like you're going to be, maybe using some pin particles to either make the hammer very, very large or you very, very small. Probably the latter there, right there. But you can see some of those large scale props there.
Super cool.
Very, very cool. Love all of this. I am unsure about the scoop vehicle. We'll see how it actually is implemented here. Could be very fun, or it could be very disappointing. Just kind of depends on how Disney actually implements these ideas. We do know that
actually. Okay. I wanted to ask Alan because have you been to Fantasy Springs?
Yes, I have.
How was the Peter Pan ride? Because this will be like the most similar thing. So was that like fun or like what do you think?
Okay, so I preface this where I liked it that since it was so different from our Peter Pan, and I also preface it as well as in I know people because of Universal Studios Hollywood, and I call it old Universal. So people they don't like screen-based attractions.
Yeah, I call it old Universal too. Oh my god!
I do think they have their place. Right, as long as they're not overdid, because I think people they get mad at screen-based attractions when everything's a screen-based. So I think even with this one, if for some reason this one was mostly screen-based, I'd still be okay with it for what it does for the area. But the new Peter Pan in was it in Tokyo? Very, very beautiful. Everything was nice. Like I said, everything was nice. Everything was crisp screens over there. They had some physical things, but that one was mostly screen based. But they did have some actual props in there as well too. I think this one looks to have more physical props than Peter Pan.
Oh, that's good.
With that one, but it was very nice. But I'm saying, but it was also because not everything else was like it as was like it. So it did stand out.
Yeah, nice variety of experiences right there, which I mean, I suppose we'll have to see how this actually does next to Web Slingers, next to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, next to Soarin' even.
Oh, it's going to look real great next to Web Slingers, I'll tell you
that. for me, I'm just excited that it's keeping people in there because right now, the reason why you go to Avengers Campus is you go for Guardians and you go for Web Slingers. And I think you go for Guardians, and on the way out, you stop by Web Slingers. And you could tell because that's where your lines are. And I will say for D23 weekend, I was shocked. Spider-Man actually had a longer line than Guardians.
Right.
Like consistently. So as much as we trash on Web Slingers, it has a thing where, and I think it's because a lot of us, we compare it to the Spider-Man ride in Orlando. People still do enjoy it. And whether we call them, the general public, those filthy casuals, however you want to call it.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
But I do say people do enjoy it, whether it's because it's the IP, whether it's because they actually enjoy it. Besides this, because I said I don't like the whole like boo 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 thing, but people do enjoy it because it is because it does give you that competitive thing. So and like when I go, like when I went last time with my family, they wanted to do Web Slingers because they were saying, hey, whose score can we beat? And I remember like we had enough for two cars, so then we're like car versus car, whoever overall got the bigger score.
I just wish I knew where I was shooting. I still can't tell.
Just like VillainCon.
True. I can't tell there either, but I can tell a little more.
Yeah. No, but the main thing is for me, I do like this because it's giving you more reasons to be in the land, and especially because it's a bigger land, so it's becoming more kind of like a fantasy land or there's a bunch of attractions there, or like a Tomorrowland, especially Tomorrowland like in its prime, where there's a bunch of attractions there anchored by an attraction, which you have Guardians, and nothing's going to outdo that. But you're having rides that say, "Hey, I could do this here, I could do this here." So whether you hit these rides on the way to Guardians to help dissipate the lines of Guardians, or people stay in Avengers Campus to help dissipate the lines at the other ends of the park. And hopefully that means if people like this area better, they could go demo Goofy Sky School and everything over there, and actually put something worthy of the Disney name on that side of the park.
It's really interesting because the only reason I go into Avengers Campus nowadays is from Monsters Incorporated all the way over to Cars Land. You know, it just doesn't keep you in there like Alan said.
Avengers Hallway.
Exactly, the Avengers Hallway, and I'll say this is the missing ingredient for Avengers Campus. You know, this is and I think the first impression for this land has already been made, and a lot of people are kind of mixed on this. I think this could very well round it out if effectively translated, effectively installed, and effectively operated. So very much looking forward to how Disney's going to pull this off. We've been waiting for this for a long, long time, and it's going to be the only one of its kind in the world. So that should be fun.
Yeah, and I think Infinity Defense needs to be better than average, and then the other one just needs to be freaking average.
Or yeah, I would say so.
And no, and I think that will help Avengers Campus because they have stuff in there that and I will say they're doing better at the character interactions because more so than other places. I am surprised at how many meet and greets they have in Avengers Campus, and like walking around as well too. So they have all the makings of that land to make it kinetic and do the other things for you. They just need to give you a reason to stay there. And with this, hopefully they'll be doing that, and it will help that like the other ends of the park.
Yeah, I agree, and I like that Stark Flight Labs is outside, so again, it adds a little bit of something you can see, which is nice, which is cool. And I'm just glad there's a massive physical props, and look at that, that actually looks pretty nice. So hopes have been raised for this thing when it opens in 2028. Both attractions will open in 2028, confirmed by Disney themselves. Look at them working hard over there. And then that was it for California Adventure. Showed an Avatar model, but didn't say anything about it. So we'll pop over.
Do we have footage of the Avatar model?
We do.
Ooh, let's throw that on there. Ooh.
We do have an eye, and I took a lot myself. It was really cool, I must say. Wow, very impressive. And
there you go.
The B-roll
got
key
it
right there. Boom, crush it. Look, that was like 0.5 seconds right there. That was
incredible. See here, I'll be wizard. I'll be wizard right now. I'm gonna ask Vash. So Vash, do you feel like the lack of them talking about the Avatar destination is bad news for California Adventure?
I think it's very bad news because you know, I mean, look, this project, right? It predates every single thing they did actually talk about when you really think about it. The bulk of which actually was announced back in D23 2024, right? This Avatar experience coming to Disneyland in some way was originally shepherded by Bob Iger back for the fiscal year 2023 Q2 earnings call. Okay, so like February of that year. And so we've been waiting all this time to actually learn what we're going to actually get, when it's going to be installed, etc. The fact that, you know, this concept that we've all been waiting for has, you know, didn't even receive nary a mention. I mean, I think they referred to it once. They said, Avatar's coming, but then actually gave any screen time to it, I think is kind of a bad thing. And now we're hearing that it's going to be deprioritized in favor of Tomorrowland. Also says to me, oh boy, what, are we going to get this? You got to understand, you know, if working on a 1 to 5 year timeline, you can reasonably say, okay, well, it's a little bit later on the schedule, but we'll eventually get to it. To move now to possibly a 5 to 10 year timeline, a lot can happen, a lot can change, and a lot has already happened, right? Bob Iger, who originally championed this, well, he's no longer the CEO. John Landau, who was a big proponent of actually getting these experiences in the parks, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. James Cameron is even saying that he's walking away from perhaps potentially the Avatar franchise as a whole. Joe Rohde, who used to be there, who oversaw the construction of the first Pandora, he's no longer with us either. There's just so many different things that are happening at Disney with this particular franchise and with Disneyland. You know, shifting priorities right here just suggests to me that the likelihood that this will even happen has maybe decreased, just given the time scale that we're actually looking at. And we've seen projects that have been announced, that have been shepherded, that have been worked on, never actually make it off the drawing board. So I am less confident now that this will go forward just because of all the things that are moving and happening in this realm.
Interesting.
But please.
Okay.
Well,
when you say it like that, I'm like, it's Avatar just got the band hammer.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I just don't know if this is actually going to come to fruition, right? And I was pretty confident that this was still on the board, still on the schedule when I saw the model. But again, working on models, working on visualizations, working on all these things, there's not all that invested by the company if they ever want to walk away from this potentially, right? And when it comes to the maybe emerging franchises, right? Something could pop off where it's like, hey, we want that in the park. And that could take the spot of Avatar. Something could happen maybe perhaps with this franchise where James Cameron says, you know what, I'm not going to produce this anymore. And maybe the Disney company itself maybe walks away from this and says, you know what, maybe this isn't worth actually exploring further without James Cameron's involvement and with diminishing box office returns. Going from even 3 years, right, from the debut of A Way of Water to Fire and Ash, the box office dropped 35% going from one film to another. Where will the enthusiasm for this franchise be maybe perhaps 5-10 years later? I'm not sure. But those are the kind of timelines we're working on, I think, at this point.
And there we go.
Oh.
Stay tuned for my order of operations video later on this week about the next projects. Very cool stuff there. Were we going to say something?
Well, I'm thinking everything. I'm thinking kind of what Vash was saying. I think they could be pushing forward with it, but they want something that's easily, I guess, transferable. That's the best way to put it. So they can say, "Hey, we're going to start doing Avatar," and then last minute we can say, "Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this." If that makes sense, because we could go over box office returns, which I don't think should be as big a role in the land, because you're still making over $1 billion. You know, I said you're making over $1 billion in the box office, which is harder to do in today's box office. With like a lot of different franchises, but like you said, more so than just the land, attractions that they're trying to build in, and it could be two things. It's they don't know what to put in there because we saw during the art, right? They're saying, oh, it's gonna be a boat ride, but now Coco's eating a boat ride. So it's like, what are you gonna put in there? You can't really put a flying theater in there because you have Soarin' in there, right? So I think they might be stuck as in what to actually put in there. Now, if you do any screen-based rides, right? You have Avengers doing this stuff as well. So I think that's what they might be struggling with. It's what do you put in there to justify this land? And then now we're going to go to the issue that we've had, depending on how big it is. If you're giving it a whole land, it's going to be anchored by one thing. What else are you going to put in there?
Right.
And then now you're going to have the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge effect,
right?
The OK Universe effect, where it's like you have this one thing and it looks amazing, or kind of like we just said about Avengers Campus, one thing, but nothing that's going to keep you there besides looking at how beautiful everything is.
Right.
So if you're looking at like right now, like I think the boat ride's not going to be in there.
It does place enhanced emphasis on making it super spectacular to be the anchor point that I think this has to be, if in fact, like you said, Alan, they go in this direction. And I just don't know if there are the champions that are, still at the company that want to see this to fruition. I think this was something that Bob Iger wanted. Well, we know Josh Giamaro was there, so that was somebody else's baby, not his.
Yeah, and
So
James Cameron he's really difficult to work with as well. So I
Right.
can see people not being enthusiastic about it. So and also the other stuff that needs to happen besides this to actually open up the plot of land for this area as well.
Right.
So,
Right.
but like I said, it looks, it looks amazing. But like we said, what do you put in there? I think honestly, I think someone said it as well. Like the only thing I could think of to put in there that could anchor the land would be of become a multi-launch. Or honestly, you could say you could do one better and put the become a flying coaster, but then you're going into capacity. What's in there? Can they do it? Remember, DCA is also a residential area, so can you even put something in there like that without and with So there's a bunch of things. There's a bunch of things like can't do, and I think they're struggling. They're struggling with that as well. It's like what put in there to anchor this, and like I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Now, if you see the boat right here that they actually have in place, that is a spitting image right there of the same boats that are used for Shanghai's Pirates of the Caribbean. So are they using that technology? We would hope so, and that would obviously improve the thrill element to this. It would improve the wow factor connecting to this. But again, it's so far out now. I don't know, guys. I just don't see it.
Oh, well, just for a minute, we're going to pop into Tomorrowland because we're running out of time. So we're going to go to Tomorrowland, but just stay tuned for next year when Monsters Inc. closes, and I think many doubters will be in for quite a surprise. So,
So you think it's coming?
Oh, I'm even more confident now since Saturday than I was before, which is great. But that's simply.
So what do you think is going to anchor the land?
Well, what you just saw over there. And from the ride details, they say the same. Mind blowing.
Okay.
But that's only from people talking or messaging me.
No, I know. I get it, but that's why I was just wondering because I think the big thing is what's going to anchor it, and I think that's probably more going up than anything.
And then I talked to OG yesterday, and I guess someone told him the same thing that another person told me. I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty crazy. Something crazy. I'm so sad it's being a little bit delayed, but boy, my goodness, I think you'll be surprised, any doubters in there, because, oh my God, my beautiful Pandora will look so good. And my beautiful Tomorrowland will look so good too. Oh wait, before we plop over there, quickly, remember dreams come true in the OG World of Color with some little enhancements.
By the way,
will come in February 2027. Oh, there you go.
He did.
And yes, you did. And Magic Happens comes in summer 2027. So we can enjoy those things again. They're all fantastic. And they're all great platform pieces. I'm glad for OG World Color. That'd be pretty cool. And then Tomorrowland, that will be coming up here with something fairly soon, simply because Autopia has to do something by February 2027. So something part of Tomorrowland will happen pretty soon. But we got about a couple sentences from Disney about this. The most important one, the only one of meeting, said new attractions, open spaces, and something about retro futuristic, they basically try to say. So new Tomorrowland,
steampunk,
committed and prioritized ahead of Avatar, and like I said, something has happened with Autopia by February. So, and according to Scott Gooston, who told me when they had that, check out a Substack, by the way, he wrote a whole piece on it. But when they had a media briefing with Jill Astorino, president of Disneyland, and during that media briefing, they said that Autopia to them is a blank slate. So take that for what you will. But what do you think? Tomorrowland, Almighty Coasters.
Tomorrowland. I think the reason why the push for Tomorrowland because I think it was shoehorned in there because Tomorrowland it's kind of like a Disneyland property. And what I mean by Disneyland, it's a Disney park property.
Mm.
And since these other Tomorrowlands are getting upgraded, they don't want that disparity between them because Tokyo they're redoing theirs. They're putting emphasis on Discoveryland over in Paris. The I was it Shanghai. It's newer and everything, and then you have the two in the U.S. which look downright atrocious comparatively. So I think that's why they said for the one on the East Coast, hey, we're doing it piece by piece. So then you have to do something with this one, to have it to a standard because it's more so Tomorrowland is a Disney Parks property. So it has to fit a certain thing. I want them. The biggest thing, do something with the freaking People Mover track.
Yes, please.
But I know it's hard. So it's whether they and I know Utopia is a blank slate, but I really think they need to do something with the People Mover track. They need to do something with Interventions, or whatever they're calling it now. And I think more so than just updating attractions for certain attractions, give it a good restaurant. Honestly, because it's not only dated looks wise, I feel like it's dated experience wise compared to other stuff that Disney has. Because like you go to the other parks, you go to the other lands, and even like Avengers Campus, where it's like you go to Tomorrowland for Space Mountain, you get Star Tours on the way, but there's nothing that gives you there. There's nothing really pleasant about it. And I felt the same way when I was in Magic Kingdom as well too. Like you go there for Space Mountain, Tron looks amazing, but even though I feel like it's more Tomorrowland adjacent, but the whole experience more so than look of it feels really really dated, and I think they need to do something about that. And I think that's what I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they move the Astro Orbiters. I hope they move it back to its original place. So then you can have open space. So then it's not all congested when you're walking into Tomorrowland. The People Mover track right now, it's good for shade, but like put something on there or get rid of it. Like you need to do something because it looks tacky when people are like, "Oh, what's that for?" And like it's nothing. So like it's a shade structure, and I think those are things that they need to do just to update the experience, not just look at the land. We really really need to update the experience.
Vash.
Oh man, there's endless thoughts about this, but I'll try to be very very quick because obviously we're running out of time. I think, for the entire presentation, right, it was all about, hey, you know what? We're listening to you. You're a part of our design process. You're a part of our thought process. We're including you and so forth. And I thought we saw a lot of that with Turning into Imagination, with Yeti, and now with Tomorrowland, something that fans have wanted for 20 plus years, maybe even longer than that. This was very consistent with Thomas Moslem's philosophy of like, hey, you know what? We're looking at those guest surveys. We're looking at those friction points. We're looking to do something about them. And remember, Thomas Moslem, he gave that February symposium right there with the media, and now maybe Jill Estorino has taken up the charge right there, and she's saying, hey, we're looking at things that people don't like. We've heard your issues with Tomorrowland. We're going ahead and do something about this finally. So this is very, very interesting to see the philosophy actually play out. Emma O'Brien, the lead Imagineer on this project right here, says that they want to go ahead and they want to restore Tomorrowland to Walt's original vision, which is very, very interesting. Is she talking about 1955? Is she talking about 1967? Not sure, but it looks like they are going with maybe a more retro design. As she did say that they're going to update that for the modern era to be consistent with that vision of the future today. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see how they actually thread that needle as well. But Tomorrowland, as Alan said, needs a big, big change, a big, big overhaul. And that creates a question of scope. How far or how willing are they to fix Tomorrowland? And is their mind consistent with the fix that our minds are consistent with, right? Like
Mhm.
does their fix mean something different than our fix? That'll be interesting to see and be interesting to explore. People are like, oh, well, they should go ahead and empty out all those buildings and replace them with something else, like Star Tours, Buzz Lightyear, and everything like that. But you do get into some issues where when you look at the spatial restrictions of the Tomorrowland facades and facilities, right, they are saturated to the point that they can be. You can't really change out something like Star Tours and get rid of those simulators and have a compelling experience. I see Alan shaking his head, and I think he's in agreement with me on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you actually go over with a big wrecking ball and finally get rid of those original 1967 structures? That would be interesting, but that would also increase the scope, increase the size, and increase the budget. Is the company willing to go that far? That's going to be the big interesting thing that is asked of this. Are they just saying the right things and not going to do anything about them? Are they just interested in quick fixes that will still leave fans disappointed? Or are they committing themselves to fully addressing the long-standing issues that Tomorrowland actually has? Will Tomorrowland be the compelling land that fans ultimately want? Or is this just another coat of paint with more closures than openings? All of those things are big questions here that people are asking. And the fact that they are going forward with this tells me they may be looking to limit the investment somewhat. We just saw some repainting going on for Buzz Lightyear. I think they're going to be interested in that. I think they obviously they had to do something with Autopia. They had to do something with subs. I think subs are gone. I'm pretty sure about that. I think Autopia is going to be reworked. Maybe perhaps gone too. I do think that the Carousel Progress building is gone as well. More than that, though, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good bets because those are like underutilized spaces, and or some of them are. So I feel like that'd be nice. And you know what? Hey, if all those things were gone, like you just said, and maybe they added like a nice show, like a permanent something to the Path of the Jedi Theater, or How I Shrunk the Kids, that'd be great for me. And as Alan said, get rid of the people mover tracks, at least in the middle there. It really kind of takes up a lot of space or cramps up the place. That would be some aesthetic stuff. A couple, maybe one or two new rides, and that open plot to the left.
I think
That'd be perfect for me.
I think, like you said, I think it's gonna be more aesthetic, more so than anything, and upgrading things here and there.
Yeah.
Not too much with the rides, but that's why I'm saying the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why I mean, compared to a lot of other places, the experience in Tomorrowland is very, very dated, and I think if we fix that, we could deal with the other limitations.
Exactly.
Because the rides themselves, I mean, they're fun. All right, Star Tours is fun. Space Mountain's fun.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess some people have. I feel like there's a lot of thoughts about Tomorrowland, but I don't know. I feel like those are fun. Like if they stayed, I feel like that those are fun. You know, Buzz Lightyear, if they got some sort of update, that'd be cool. I mean, that's a fun one too. Could be more technologically advanced, but that'd be fun. And yeah, something new in the intervention spot, new ride or whatever, and maybe
put Tron Jr.
Tron Jr. That would be perfect. That would solve my coaster crisis that I've been longing for 25 years at Disneyland. And that I feel like that would be great to me. Aesthetic stuff, refurb some stuff, update some attractions, keep the other ones that are doing just fine, and then just add Tron Jr. or something. And then I feel like that's up because another thing, I mean, as we all know, Tomorrowland is very crowded, right? So you can't just wall off the thing because where are all the people going to go, right? So you have to really be strategic on how you update it, or at least Tomorrowland, that middle part, right? And Waltopia is kind of to the left, but it's very like how busy this park is. I mean, you can't just shut down and demolish the whole thing all at the same time because I mean, capacity, right? So I feel like they just kind of do some aesthetic stuff. Get rid of unused things like the people mover tracks. Put a new ride, as Alan said, in the big ass intervention spot plus Autopia, and there you go. I feel like that would be I feel like most people would be pretty happy with that, in my opinion.
And to Alan's point, it's kind of like a lot of Tomorrowland, like the attractions and so forth, they do work and they do fulfill the duty of
and like I said,
being
they're fun.
guest interest points, right? Yeah, and soaking up time for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Star Trader still sells, I think when people say, "Oh, we want to go ahead and get rid of everything," it's kind of like, well, there's value there, and then it would include it from a guest perspective as well. But Alan, please, you were going to say.
I'm reading what John said.
Yeah, this one. Hold on. I know Josh could have brought the room, and he could have told him to go there and just sit some.
Yeah. Oh, and the one before, he's like, I think.
Anything else? Okay, well, in past terms, I might have said okay, sure, but I really think this Autopia deadline situation. I feel like they're forced to like, okay, should we do the electric stuff?
Yeah.
Because you think if they were doing the electric stuff, and they very well still could, but you would have think they would have showed it. And it has to happen in February. But I feel like that kind of helped them make a decision on something.
No, I think it's that, but I think overall they're doing Tomorrowland's at Disney Parks worldwide.
Literally every Tomorrowland's being worked on, even Hong Kong.
Yeah, no, and I will say like Magic Kingdom's needed the most work at all of them, but like ours isn't much better. We're just in the weird fake retro tech version of it, which just looks ugly compared to, because now everyone went to Apple, so we want things sleek. So now that part's outdated. But ours had a refresh, before Magic Kingdoms, and I just think they just needed to do. They need to do anything, but they need to move Astro Orbiters, move that back to its original spot.
Just give me that and make it more thrilling.
And you can put the slowest thing on the People's Mover track just so it's in use, and people will be happy. I would be
happy with that, honestly.
Yes.
Because it doesn't have to be like the People Mover. Like you could have something else. Like honestly, you could put Autopia on the People Mover.
That'd be dope. That'd be great. I'd love to drive a car on the electric car on the People. That'd be so cool.
And people, and I think people will be okay with that. And then they said use the extra space for other stuff just to update the actual theme park experience in Tomorrowland. Because I will say this, Tomorrowland feels the most Six Flags out of any Disneyland.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it just doesn't hold up. I think the quick fixes or the lack of investment has hurt this land, right? Like the 1980 Tomorrowland, getting rid of the People Mover in the first place, I think was a big mistake. Something out with rocket rods has now left it empty and so forth. Pulling the Astro Orbiter to the front, I think, was also a big mistake. I mean, there aren't that many things that need to happen to really renew interest in this. I think an aesthetic refresh, right? Placing some things back where they should be, utilizing some existing infrastructure, I think would make fans pretty happy. And that opens maybe potentially space, right, to the north of Tomorrowland, where the last real expansion pad for Disneyland currently exists. Does that mean to reconfiguring the monorail so that we get rid of the spaghetti bowl configuration, or moving that People Mover track in places that opens up that land, maybe get rid of subs? That is all I think on the table. Yeah, Tron, exactly. It'd be cool. We'll see how far they go.
You give me Tron Jr., all is forgiven.
That's right. Oh man, and with that we've come. Well, we have international stuff, but who cares about that? Look it up on your own. Disney Parks blog has a whole bunch of stuff on the international stuff.
I will say the Spider-Man roller coaster.
That looks cool.
Looks awesome.
And Disneyland Paris is From Earth to the Moon. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and the Drop Tower Avengers at Hong Kong is cool, and you have more details, and you'll check it out on Disney Parks blog. And there's Abu Dhabi, but there's no mention of that anywhere, but that's there. And there you go. D23 is complete. And then Alan Almighty Coasters, where can everybody find you?
You can find, if you want the Almighty experience, you can find me here on Theme Park Wizards YouTube. Also, no, I'm at Almighty Coasters on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm at Almighty Coaster on the dreaded X. You can also find me at the Bluesiest on a lot of the platforms as well too.
And VashSky Park Cast.
Apps. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Wizard, for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Almighty, we gotta get you back on VashSky Podcast. I think that'd be
I'm
a lot of
on,
fun.
I'm
Almighty.
ready for you anytime.
Get in the queue.
Fantastic right there. Well, thank you so much, guys. This was a whole lot of fun. A whole lot of, yeah, he's got 3D glasses
Where's
right
the
there.
hammer? Where's the
Fantastic.
For the B-roll.
I know, for the B-roll. Do appreciate
There you
that.
go.
Love this stuff. Love talking about this stuff, and we can talk about it more on the VashSky Podcast. We're gonna have a lot of commentary going on about D23, the ramifications of it, what we actually think. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. So definitely join us tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Wednesday.
Wednesday, 11
Yeah,
a.m.
Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday. That would be 6:30 p.m. Eastern right there. Going to be a whole lot of fun on the VashSky Podcast. You can also find me on VashSky at X. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for joining. Thank you once again, Remy D, for becoming a member, for gifting the memberships and Real Adventure for becoming a member, and Theme Park and Things for 5 jewels as a nice treat. I'll eat them as I did my ice cream that I have here. There. Or frozen yogurt, I guess they call it. But have fun. Stay tuned. Stay magical. And get ready for a Paint the Night 4K POV coming out soon. Also, a D23 recap video coming out soon. I'm going to film in like 14 minutes. Peace.